ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, happy Election Day Tuesday, buddy.
Hey, Crudy, happy Election Day. Did you go vote?
Of course I voted.
Nice. Good work, son.
You also voted?
I did vote this morning.
Excellent. I wonder about you
What do you
sometimes.
mean? Yeah, Skrenak all the way. Yes.
I'm not even...
I'm just kidding. I would never do that. Dallet on the ballot. Our guest from yesterday voted for her, said no. After our conversation with the former Wisconsin treasurer yesterday, I thought, well...
His name? Come on, Dom. Jack Foyt.
Jack. I knew it was something like that.
I know. I thought I'd put you on the spot, make
why
you
would
look
you?
bad for your Skrenak joke. If you have not voted yes, no, to the treasurer question. Yes, we want a treasurer. No, we should not eliminate a treasurer. Here's my little plan for you, the fair listeners. If you don't understand how this question is being asked, just vote no. It's a little confusing. I started reading it. I'm like, well, I don't need to read it. I know the answer is no.
The answer is no. The nice person who gave me my ballot clarified for me, as well as the people in front of me and behind me, because you know how those questions sometimes
yes means no and no means yes.
Exactly. You know, it's like Trump going out on a date.
Dom just wanted to vote maybe we should. So anyways, please go vote if you've not had the opportunity yet. I know you will. If you're listening to this show and you don't know that it's Election Day in Wisconsin, man, you have my permission to turn it off and call it a day. You don't deserve to listen to this fine show.
Wait a minute. If you don't know today is Election Day, that is all the more reason you need to pay attention. Tune in and tell 3 of your friends who will tell 3 of their friends to listen to the greatest radio show ever.
Excellent. And going to be a big show, Dom. Of course, the political ads they've been playing, at least we'll get a reprieve from them in the short run. But the WMC casting a lot of shade on the Dallet campaign.
Oh, the Wisconsin Manufacturers in Commerce. Didn't their spokesman say they are a grassroots organization?
They did, Dom.
Yeah, do you believe that?
Well, I believe that they're trying to hide their board members from the public.
Oh.
And we're going to talk to our friend, Scot Ross, Executive Director, One Wisconsin Now. We're going to ask him, why would they do that?
Don't you want promotion? Isn't that what WMC is all about? Promoting business.
You know, I know a few of them by name. I might name a few names on the air today, but we'll see which one Scot Ross can grab for us. He'll join us in just a little bit. But, Tom, you know, we've been very Wisconsin-centric, as is right for us to do. This is our fair state. It is an election day. But today, I think we've got to turn our attention back to a little Trump trash. And my God, what has your president done today, Dom?
Oh, Crudy, it's not just the president. Oh, you're talking about Trump or the conviction?
Trump.
Oh, Trump? Oh,
Hashtag
Trump.
not my president. Oh, I forgot. We're going a different direction.
See, look at you, man. So you lead it. Where do you want to go? Trump? That's your gut now. That's all right. Let's talk about Trump for a minute.
Let's go Trump first, because I know where you want to go. You want to go to Mueller time.
It is
You want to go
Mueller
dessert before you eat your dinner.
Well, you never know. Always eat your dessert first. Wear your best clothes. Use the fine china. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
There has been a sentencing in the Trump-Russian collusion to deal, the Mueller probe. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Just a tease, but someone's going to prison. But Dom, I'm sorry, man. Let's talk about Trump. I think he is worthy of our, I mean, I have no idea what this man's doing day to day anymore. I
you
don't mean because I'm not paying attention, because I'm paying attention.
So you have that in common with Trump, because I'm not clear he knows what he's doing day to day anymore.
I saw a headline today at the Hill. Trump has embraced White House chaos. It's very hard to embrace that chaos.
It's like jumping in the ocean and saying you embraced being wet. It doesn't really matter what you embrace or don't embrace. You're still going to get wet.
Well, it's getting chaotic, Dom. And Trump spoke today, and I'm not even sure what the context was, why he was speaking to Baltic state leaders or something.
Yes, exactly.
And just making some rambling statements. But I do know, and this breaks my heart a little bit, Trump's very sad today, Dom.
Why is Trump sad, Cruz?
I'm not at all clear. Something about a Mexican caravan. Apparently, he wasn't invited on the magic bus. I'm not clear what it was about that aspect of the conversation that made him describe himself as very sad. Now, Melania, I would understand why she's very sad.
Well, she signed up for it. She's getting everything she deserves.
She's also a birther. Every time I start to feel bad for Melania, I just think, also a birther.
Part of the problem.
Dom, what did Trump say?
Trump today.
Hashtag not my president.
Jordan Fabian reporting on the Hill. Trump will put U.S. military on the southern border. Are we going to invade Mexico? I lay claim to Cancun. That's all I want.
Why would you want? That's like the armpit of Mexico.
Cancun?
Why not grab Tijuana while you're at it?
Come on, man. I love Cancun. What would you
That's
take?
not exactly the boardwalk or park place. I would go Zihuatanejo. I'd go on the Pacific side.
I'm
going to grab one of the little islands, Cozumel perhaps.
I'm a Gulf side guy.
But man, I'm not going to the armpit that is Cancun.
On, you can get to Cuba from there, man. You can get to
then why not
Jamaica.
I'm just going to stay here.
You're just going to stay here?
You guys go.
Hey, you're going on vacation tomorrow, fella. You're going to the sun. Kiss my butt.
I'm going to almost Mexico.
First of all, kiss my butt. And second of all, you are to be seen and not heard from now till you return from your unexcused absence.
President Trump said Tuesday he plans to deploy U.S. troops along the southern border to prevent illegal crossings until we can have a wall. Until we can have a wall and proper security, we are going to be guarding our border with the military. That's a big step, Trump told reporters at the White House. We have some sound of this. Should we play a little sound of Trump today?
Little Trump sound, sure. Why not? Let's torture our audience.
Yes.
Like this president is torturing all of us.
If we got to hear it, you got to hear it. Let's start with the first one, cut number 80, Trump and the caravan.
When this caravan came in, and this is a caravan of a lot of people coming in this case from Honduras. If it reaches our border, our laws are so weak and so pathetic, you would not understand this, because I know how strong your laws are at the border. It's like we have no border.
Now, of course, that's Trump speaking to the leaders of the Baltic states. They wouldn't understand because, they have strong borders, perhaps thanks to the U.S. military.
But, Dom, apparently there is legitimately a caravan of Central Americans. They're headed this way. I understood it was something of a protest movement. I'm not sure that they do plan on, scaling Trump's non-existent wall. I mean, is Trump looking for an active war? Does Trump have the ability to place the military at the border?
Deploy military within the borders of the United States? Maybe we'll get into that. I'm not clear.
And why does it make him sad?
Let's keep going. Trump on military on the border, 81.
We are going to be doing some things. I've been speaking with General Mattis. We're going to be doing things militarily. Until we can have a wall and proper security, we're going to be guarding our border with the military.
And 82. Let's keep going.
That's a big step. We really haven't done that before, or certainly not very much before.
And 82A.
I told Mexico very strongly, you're going to have to do something about these caravans that are coming up. And I just noticed that the caravan now, which is toward the middle of Mexico, coming up from Honduras, is breaking up very rapidly.
I don't know what that means either.
Maybe
they're losing tires on the roadside.
They're dispersing, perhaps.
Like people are just sleeping under cactuses. I got this far, but I'm leaving the caravan now. I'm not clear what that means.
Maybe the pressure Trump is applying to the Mexican authorities, he's suggesting that it's working therefore the caravan, the group of people marching and coming up from Honduras are now splitting off.
My understanding, this is like 1,500 people. Big number, but really, does it take the world's attention today?
It does when it's reported on Fox News and the Drudge Report, and President Trump watches, the Foxy Friends.
Is that why he's so saddened?
I'm not clear. Maybe he's feeling empathy. Is this him trying to feel empathy?
It's not empathy. It's not compassion. I don't know what it is. Like, it just bothers him, and therefore he's a little sad. Let's keep going.
Trump, U.S. immigration cut number 83.
Mexico has very strong immigration laws, as we should have. We should have those laws. We don't have. We have immigration laws that are laughed at by everybody.
And there's Donald Trump. We didn't get to hear the sad part.
Here, let me read the quote. I've got the Ross story. I read this headline. President Donald Trump on Tuesday revealed that he would send troops to the U.S. border. We've talked about that. And said that a so-called caravan of migrants made him very sad. During remarks from the cabinet room, Trump spoke about his plan to secure the border in lieu of a sprawling border wall, which apparently he got no funding from.
No, they're building. They're doing stuff that was already on the schedule, and he's taking claim.
Well, what about the Mexicans paying for it? I thought that was the original claim.
Well, no, that was an add-on that he got a really good response from the audience at the Trump rallies, and so he just stuck with it.
Now, here's the quote. We're going to be guarding our border with our military. That's a big step, he told reporters before accusing President Barack Obama making changes that basically created no border. According to Trump, Mexico broke up the caravan of migrants who were heading to the United States because he told them to. And then here's the quote that I keep referencing, Dom. The caravan makes me very sad.
Why?
I'm not at all clear why he's saddened by this caravan of migrants that apparently he had broken up.
Because he has to now deploy the military. Also from the Hill, they report President Obama and George W. Bush both deployed National Guard troops at the border to help stop illegal immigration. The temporary moves came as they were trying to win conservative support for immigration reforms that would allow millions to seek U.S. citizenship. The United States is not going to militarize the southern border, Bush said when announcing the deployment in 2006. Mexico is our neighbor and our friend.
You realize, under Posse Comitatus, the Posse Comitatus Act of 1876, signed into law by Rutherford B. Hayes, I learned all this today. We looked it up. The only way that Trump could actually activate the military, not the National Guard, and he's not a state governor, I would remind you, is if he declares martial law because the United States is under invasion. Apparently that is what's making him so sad? He's going to have to declare martial law?
Oh, he's excited to do that.
Folks, you got to be excited. More Devil's Advocates coming back. Go vote. And then listen to us.
Man! Nobody builds walls better than me. We have to close down our government. We're building that wall. You have a builder as your president. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, Resistance Radio listeners. This is Kim Schrader, the president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. We are the 4,600 educators who make Milwaukee's public education system possible. MTA members are the guardians of public education because every single day we are fighting to strengthen and protect public schools our students deserve. MTA educators are leading the fight in Milwaukee public schools for smaller class sizes, more recess, physical education, art, and music opportunities for every child in MPS. MTA educators are the champions for healthier school meals, positive discipline practices, equitable schools, and schools that partner with parents. MTA members are the guardians of public education, and we are proud to teach all children, regardless of their zip code. To learn more, follow us on Facebook at the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
When you're running for Wisconsin's highest court, you better have your facts straight. The ads for Michael Skrenik are false. I know, because I'm Prosecutor Pat Kenny, and I prosecuted the case they are lying about. Judge Rebecca Dallet made sure justice was served.
As a mother of 3 daughters and a prosecutor and a judge for 20 years, I've delivered justice to victims of rape and child abuse. These attack ads are lying.
Wisconsin needs a Supreme Court justice who will serve with integrity, is fair and impartial, and who puts victims first. A justice who stands up to the special interests and protects our rights. Facts are facts. And ads for Michael Skrenik have the facts wrong. Join me and vote for Judge Rebecca Dallet on April 3rd.
Paid for by Dallet for Justice.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries. For
The Devil's Advocates. Political commentary from the back of the class.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, streaming on YouTube and Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the phone text line 844-967-2789.
I cracked myself up. That's my little joke.
It's not even close.
Posse Comitatus.
Hakuna Matata.
Let's get to an article. Posse Comitatus Act in the U.S. military on the border. Robert Longley, the ThoughtCo.com. In May of 2006, President George W. Bush, in Operation Jumpstart, ordered up to 6,000 National Guard troops to the states along the Mexican border to support the Border Patrol in controlling illegal immigration and related criminal activities on U.S. soil. On July 19, 2010, President Obama ordered an additional 1,200 Guard troops to the southern border. While this buildup was substantial and controversial, it did not require Obama to suspend the Posse Comitatus Act. The Posse Comitatus Act limits the Guard troops to acting only in support of the U.S. Border Patrol and state and local law enforcement officials. Posse Comitatus and martial law. This is what's got me nervous, Tom. The Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 prohibits the use of U.S. military forces to perform the task of civilian law enforcement, such as arrest, apprehension, interrogation, and detention, unless explicitly authorized, not by Trump, but by Congress. the Posse Comitatus Act signed into law by President Rutherford B. Hayes, the second time I've said that word like in my lifetime, on June 18, 1878, limits the powers of the federal government in the use of federal military personnel to enforce U.S. laws and domestic policies within the borders of the United States. The law was passed as an amendment to an Army appropriation bill following the end of the Reconstruction and was subsequently amended in 1956 and 81. The originally enacted in 1878 Posse Comitatus Act applied only to the U.S. Army, but was amended in 56 to include the Air Force. Let me jump ahead. The Posse Comitatus Act does not apply to Army National Guard and Air National Guard when acting in a law enforcement capacity within its own state, when ordered by the governor of that state or an adjacent state if invited by that state's governor. Trump is neither of those.
I'll jump in here, Crudy.
Yeah, please do.
The Posse Comitatus Act was originally enacted.
I prefer if you sang it.
Due to the feeling of many members of Congress at the time that President Abraham Lincoln had exceeded his authority during the Civil War by suspending habeas corpus and creating military courts with jurisdiction over civilians. It should be noted that the Posse Comitatus Act greatly limits but does not eliminate the power of the president to declare martial law, the assumption of all civilian police powers by the military. The president, under his or her constitutional powers to put down insurrection, rebellion, and here's the key word, Crudy, invasion, may declare martial law when local law enforcement and court systems have ceased to function. For example, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt declared martial law in Hawaii at the request of the territorial governor.
So the question I would have is Donald Trump cannot effectively enact this guarding of the southern border by U.S. troops unless he does so under martial law. And that makes me very nervous to think that this man has within his power to call martial law and just say, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do.
That's a little scary.
I mean, that's his plan. Apparently,
we have functioning courts. You know, he does not exactly. I mean, you could argue perhaps he might say that, the fake news is causing problems, but we're not quite there, I don't think.
I really wish I had any excuse to say Rutherford B. Hayes one more time. Come back with us. Scot Ross, Executive Director, One Wisconsin Now, going to talk about the shady dealings over at WMC.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. Did you know that Scott Walker spelled backwards is Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network? I know, I was amazed too.
Wisconsin Republican Attorney General Brad Schimmel claims he will further investigate the investigators of the John Doe 2 investigation because it was all a partisan witch hunt. Wisconsin State Rep Chris Taylor said this.
There is absolutely no concern expressed by this Attorney General or these Republican legislators about the underlying criminal conduct that this corruption investigation revealed. Scott Walker was breaking laws.
And Brad Schimmel fails to acknowledge the 6 criminal convictions, 4 felonies of the Scott Walker John Doe 1. Was that also a partisan witch hunt?
One newspaper has done a good job. It's a national paper, the Wall Street Journal.
And AG Schimmel filed an embarrassing hack partisan bull report where he's still looking for the leaker. Get a clue! Wasn't it Eric O'Keefe from Wisconsin Club for Growth?
Well, I was born to do this.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org. P4ppc.org.
I'm Andy Buck, and I'm proud to be union.
Tell me about the underground economy.
Well, the underground economy is essentially workers being exploited, and they're being exploited all over the state. They're working for no benefits, no retirement, and if you don't join your brothers and sisters, you don't respect your craft.
Andy, why should I hire union?
Crudy, you should hire union because you want the job done right the first time. We represent the highest skilled, safety-trained workers in the industries that we represent. Glazers, painters, and drywall finishers. Join us. Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Hey everybody, I'm Daryl Ingram of News Talk 1510 WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, and I am the Director of Advertising and Marketing. The pride of our independent stands runs deep in all that we do here at the station. The thing that I know for sure is that you can count on the quality and independent production of client advertising, mirroring the quality and independence of our fine programming here at News Talk 1510. To learn more, contact me at 414-335-0851 or via email at daryl@newstalk1510am.com.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Today is Election Day in Wisconsin. On the ballot is a seat on the state Supreme Court and a referendum question that asks if you want to eliminate the office of state treasurer. The polls are open until 8 p.m. and you can register at the polls. To find out where your polling place is, go to myvote.wi.gov. The Weekend is headlining Summerfest on July 7th. Tickets go on sale Saturday morning, 10 a.m. And the Bucks are in 8th position in the Eastern Conference with only 5 games remaining in the regular season. Tonight, the Celtics come to town to take on the Bucks. Outside today, rainy and windy, then snow likely tonight. Continued windy, 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. Lows tonight in the low 20s. Tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, mostly sunny in the afternoon. Highs tomorrow in the mid-30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Grass-fed, locally raised, 100% organic. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It's an election day in the state of Wisconsin. I hope you've all done your civic duties. Quickly, we're expecting Scot Ross to join us momentarily. Do not be tardy, sir. 844-967-2789. But in the meantime, wanted to talk about expectations for today's vote. My understanding, Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald said that there was about 12.3% of the electorate that had voted by about midday today in the Madison area. 12.3. You think, well, that's not that great. But relative to other elective cycles, Dom, setting aside the Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton primary, the presidential primary, spring of 2016, that also had a Wisconsin Supreme Court election going on at the very same time. And let's not forget Trump and Cruz also battling out in the battleground state that was Wisconsin.
And Cruz won by like 20 points, right?
Yeah, because Right Wing Talk Radio told all the sheeple, vote for Cruz. We hate Trump, never Trump. Oh, vote for Trump.
And
they did vote for Trump.
And did Cruz utilize any of the Cambridge Analytica data?
Well, apparently he did. That was his data team. And Scott Walker's data team went to go work for Cambridge Analytica. Yeah, it all ties together eventually. But anyways, quickly, you got a couple of stats there, and then we'll take our guest.
Yes, at 11 a.m., this is according to Jesse Apoyan at the Cap Times, 12.29% of registered voters in the city of Madison had voted by 11 a.m., according to the city clerk's office. According to Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald, the average turnout throughout the county is 11 a.m. At 11 a.m. was 14%. McConnell said the county could hit 50% by the end of the day. Updated numbers are expected at 4 p.m.
That would be nearly shocking, I would say. I mean, it shouldn't be, but it would be shocking at 50% of the electorate. I would remind people, biggest Wisconsin Supreme Court election vote-wise I think we ever had, 2011, Kloppenberg-Prosser. I think it was like 1.2 million, something like that. Well, the average gubernatorial race is like 2.5 million. It's still not going to be a complete show, but this show would not be complete without Scot Ross from One Wisconsin Now, our friend. He's the executive director there. Scott, welcome back to the Devil's Advocates.
Well, good to talk to you both on this fine election day.
Yes, thank you, Scott.
It is a fine election day, sir. Wisconsin Supreme Court general election, not special elections today. There should be a few state races being contested, but apparently Scott Walker didn't want to go there. But Scot Ross, let's start with today's election. What's your organization's thought on this? It's supposed to be a nonpartisan race, but it seems like the parties have aligned behind their respective candidates. We know Skrinak is the darling of the NRA and the Republicans, and Rebecca Dallet, perhaps not to the financial degree that Skrinak has benefited, but certainly has gotten some big endorsements. Joe Biden, I think Tom Perez gave a semi-official endorsement on our show yesterday. Certainly he's got some Democrats lining up. Scott, how do you think this one's going to turn out today, buddy? Read the tea leaves.
Well,
tell our audience.
Well, let me tell you that I've looked at the computers. We've been rerouting the encryptions. We've pulled out the abacus, and definitely the candidate that has more people at the polls is going to win the election.
Excellent.
No, I think that it all comes down to this. You know, there is a progressives. This would be the first time that progressives have won an open state Supreme Court seat since 1995. That is a generation ago.
Wow.
Progressives seem to be motivated and running to the polls in terms of, you know, when in the primary there was a lot of people who went out in a race that literally had no, you know, there was little attention being paid to in that primary. But you are right. Scott Walker has gone all in for his former lawyer. I mean, this guy was his lawyer for Act 10, for rigging the maps with gerrymandering, and for trying to stop the recall. That's why he made him, appointed him to be a judge in 2015. Scott Walker has been grooming Mike Skrinak to wear that robe. And right now, it seems like that might be a problem for him, despite the fact that not only has Walker gone all in, 40% of Skrenak's money comes from the Republican Party, $1.6 million from WMC, $75,000 from the Wisconsin Alliance for Reform, and $50,000 thrown in from the NRA. They're going all in. It's about $2.2 million. But the reason the progressives haven't been winning these elections is because of an enthusiasm gap. It seems like progressives are running to the polls every time they have the chance. They certainly did that in the 10th Senate District. They certainly did that in my old district back Pennsylvania 18. And it seems like, from all accounts and some of the numbers that you've been reading and things we've heard from, either publicly from Neil Albrecht, at the Milwaukee Election Commission, or here from our own county clerk, Scott McDonald, that turnout in those two big Democratic bastions is Democratic up.
Scott, what about the weather? Does weather factor in? Is that any sort of excuse for the fair weather, civically minded to not get out and vote today?
Let me just tell you, Mr. Crute, that the day you tell me that people in Wisconsin won't go out because of some snowflakes, I will smack your face off your face.
Yeah, but they're sort of sleety snowflakes, and it's April now.
Yeah.
We thought it was spring.
How is it
now,
over
buddy?
where you're at? Because it's just like sort of spitting here.
Yeah, we got
it looks
similar.
like they might be flakes, but there's nothing. There's no accumulation over here in the People's Republic of Madison.
The only flake I see is Dominic.
It's just raining over here, Scott. Hey, let's talk about the outside money, Scott. And this is something that I found last night. Your organization emailed out. WMC, of course, through their funding arm, has supported, as you mentioned, Skrinak. This ad that they have been running, they were asked by the family of the victims to take the ad down. They have not. I noticed from your email, Scott, that WMC pulled down part of their website. Why would they do such a thing?
Well, they have run what I think we can all agree is the most despicable ad in the history of Wisconsin politics. Now, we've seen some really despicable ones. We saw, Gableman in 2008 ran that ad that was basically the Jesse Helms, black people are taking your jobs ad, a version of that. This ad that WMC ran is literally outing the child victims of sexual assault. The family has gone on television, bravely gone on television, to ask them, please take this ad down. WMC has refused. The woman apparently called WMC begging them. They gave her the runaround and wouldn't do anything. We decided to make a thing out of this. We were sort of watching things play out on this and decided, you know what? When people are being brave, they deserve to have somebody to have their damn back. And so we went after WMC. We sent them a letter calling them out for this. We listed all the members of the board of directors. There's 52 of them, 49 of them are men. And we sent that out to our statewide press list. And lo and behold, we discovered that WMC has nuked its board of directors page. Not only has it nuked its board of directors page, it nuked the button that said, here's how you can get to the board of directors page. They know that they did something really wrong. They are scared of having to pay the price. I mean, because if you look at the list of businesses on there, there are businesses that people do. I mean, some of those businesses I do business with. And, like, I'm going to think twice, I think, if they're going to continue to, if they're not going to stand up, if these businesses aren't going to stand up and say, what we did was wrong, we beg your forgiveness, and we promise you upon the altar of Almighty God we will never do this again, I think they're going to start losing business, and this is not something that my little organization is going to let go.
Scott, is it possible that, and I looked on this page and the link you provided, and certainly the board of directors page has been removed, but through the wonders of the internet, the cached version is still available. Mm-hmm. You can still find the names and the companies, and I've done business with some of these companies as well. Is it possible, Scott, that they're just business folks that join the local chamber and they're just involved to promote their businesses, and they don't know what the other hand, the political funding arm of the WMC, is doing? Do you give them any benefit of the doubt? No. Absolutely not in any way, shape, or form. Because all the people who are listed as members of the board of directors are muckaties in their company. Like, these aren't like, the low level, this isn't the parking attendant. This is the one who has like the penthouse office, with the bottle service and the complimentary special, cafeteria for just executives only. I mean, these are the people at the very top of the food chain when it comes to corporate America, and certainly corporate Wisconsin. There is no way that they don't know what this is going on. And let me tell you, here's the reason they know, because they put $1 million of this ad on television. They literally bought every TV station in Wisconsin. They bought every cable network in Wisconsin. You literally saw this ad, I bet, an average of 12 to 13 times if you are a regular connoisseur of television. Scott, when your organization reached out, did you get any reply from WMC or any of its board of directors? I didn't bother calling them. We've tried before with them. We have tried before, and they have not, they have refused to engage with us. Hell, we tried to reach out to them because we thought they might want to join with us in doing something about the student loan debt crisis, and they basically told me to go pound salt.
Scott, we haven't had you on the show since special elections. The governor, of course, forced by 3 judges to hold special elections, apparently didn't have favorable votes on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. No legal justification that even Rogensack and the crew could twist themselves, pretzel themselves into doing on Scott Walker's behalf. My friend Scot Ross, want to get your opinion. Special elections, those will be coming next. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I think with Walker, I think that his 5 on the Supreme Court are sleazeballs. I mean, come on, let's not kid ourselves. We're talking about Rebecca Bradley, who might be one of the most venomous and unfit for office elected officials in the history of the state of Wisconsin. You got Dan Kelly, who Walker put on the court with absolutely no judicial experience, a guy who compared, in his application compared affirmative action to slavery. I mean, this is a crew of some of the most corrupt folks who have served in office in Wisconsin. I think what it was because of the timing, they would have to be doing this. He wanted this to go away because he didn't want any focus on the Supreme Court, because that will once again mobilize progressives to want to say, well, we've got to take, we can take one of those votes away from him, and we can do that by going out to the polls on April 3rd. So I think that's why he caved. Maybe there was somebody who was squishy on the Supreme Court, but I don't think a guy like Gableman, who's on his way out, is going to be squishy. I don't think Rebecca Bradley is squishy. I don't think Dan Kelly is squishy, and I don't think Patience Rogensack and Ed Ziegler are squishy. Maybe those two because they go to the country club. I don't know, but I think it was more about Scott Walker wanted to get the focus off of the Supreme Court doing sleazy things for him, whilst he has his former lawyer on the ballot to try and be on the Supreme Court. Well, that begs the next question, I guess, that I have, Scot Ross. Why not simply have the Senate pass, declare special elections, change the law? They've done it before in the John Doe 2, and then go back after the fact. Is it possible that Scott Walker didn't have the votes on the Republican side? We know Luther Olson was pushing back. Perhaps a few others were as well, Scott.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible if the Senate didn't have the votes. I think that's right on. I mean, that's what we heard here.
Scott, I know you had commented on social media, while we've got an election today, we'll know who the next Wisconsin Supreme Court justice is by 10, 11, midnight tonight. We've also got a gubernatorial race, and we've got a big field of Democrats, and perhaps I saw you commenting as Scot Ross, private citizen, but I got a question. There are some out there, Scott, that want to whittle this field down, that want to create some sort of, non-scientific polling to push some out to the front and perhaps push some to the back. Scot Ross, what do you think the proper way to create and whittle down the field, be it Democrats or Republicans, what do you think the proper way to do that might be? Do you think it's an online poll?
I will say this, and let me just caveat this with listen, anybody who agrees with me 100% of the time should have their head examined. But I know one thing for sure, that the best candidate against Scott Walker will be the candidate who beats Scott Walker and who wins the Democratic primary to face Scott Walker. And as far as having an online poll try and pressure people to get out of the race or whatever the hell they were trying to do, I just great if you want to have. Listen, we had a poll. We wanted to get more, we wanted to find out who out there wanted, who cared about what candidates, and could we, generate more membership by people who are interested in the race and being able to talk to them about the issues, related to the governor's race. We want to do that. That's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what I do raise my eyebrow a little bit. Just because I don't think anybody is going to get out of the gubernatorial race because two organizations who haven't worked in statewide elections have a poll saying, oh, yeah, our members like this person. If you want to have endorsements, have endorsements. Have people go through the endorsement process, with either of these groups, go for it. Have the endorsement. But I don't know that this is, because I just don't think that it's going to, I think it's a fugazi, An online poll isn't going to tell you exactly where people are in the election in any way, shape, or form. It is, it is science that along the lines of salt is salty. That's about the level of science you're getting out of that.
Scott Ross, I reached out to Charles Franklin today. I thought perhaps some last-minute polling on the Supreme Court race would tell me whether or not to venture out in the inclement weather for a celebration party for Rebecca Dallet. As we wrap this up, Scott Ross, is it worth going out for a party tonight, man?
I say go for a party. If you're close, go for it. I mean, I'll be going to the party at my home, which is a sad little party of one, and I'll poke my fingers on the keyboard to shout things at the internet. But I think it's going to be a good night for progressives, as long as everybody who's listening who hasn't voted goes out and votes.
Scott, I'm partying either way, but I might be crying myself to sleep tonight.
Yikes.
On the Salvia futon. Let's hope not. Scott Ross, Executive Director, One Wisconsin Now. Thank you so much for joining us and all you do, my friend.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Thank you, Scott.
Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. Phone lines open to you now at 844-967-2789.
I love being governor. We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a load of money.
And they literally and figuratively get hooked. And once they get hooked, there's no going back.
What's with you, man? Come on!
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy, but know you need to move? Hi, folks. This is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean. Most are pet-friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009. Or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at 5nines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only ordering classic corner tavern. The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Sundays for Meet the Press with Chuck Todd from 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the Jeff Santos Show, kicking ass for the middle class from 12 to 3 p.m. And Citizen Action's Battleground Wisconsin rages from 3 to 4 p.m. Get your groove on with Stu Man PM, politics and music, 4 to 6 p.m. with Stu Daniels. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I am not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
The Devil's Advocates. Rock and roll political commentary in a top 40 world.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Also streaming this fine show on YouTube and Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio. And the party line for text or calls, 844-967-2789.
Scot Ross lives a lonely existence of political junkiness. I know that I have that same addiction.
Well, Scott, Crudy's going to be on the futon downstairs. We'll see if we can get a blow-up mattress. You can join us if you're in town.
I would make room on the futon. Scott could snuggle up.
You big fellas, I don't know, man.
We could spoon ourselves to sleep. Want to thank our most recent guest, the most cuddleable, spoonable Scot Ross, Executive Director, One Wisconsin Now.
What do you think about this whole thing, though? And this is really stunning to me. I mean, why would WMC take down their board of directors page?
Under pressure. Under pressure.
Pressure from what? I mean, if you have no problem with the ad you ran,
stood by the ad. Reflective
of
the grassroots membership of the Wisconsin Manufacturers of Commerce.
And this just isn't an ad that's factually wrong. It is an ad that every time it is run, $1 million worth, it re-victimizes those children. And the family asked Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, the largest business lobby in the state, to please take it down. They could have done something else. They already bought the ad time. You could do something. They declined to do so, and now they pull down their board of directors page? It doesn't make any sense. Either you're proud of the ad and you're fine and you're expressing your grassroots freedom of speech rights, but then you're going to hide your CEOs and board members?
Well, the CEO over there is Kurt Bauer. We know we met Kurt. In fact, one day we set an appointment, and Kurt apparently didn't know who we were.
He does now.
And he kept the appointment with us, and we went there, and we quizzed him. And specifically, I think most of the questions were in regards to why at the WMC event would he parrot the provably false statements being made by Governor Scott Walker, about solving a $3.6 billion budget deficit, which never existed. Those were the asks, as my little buddy Dominic's fond of mentioning. But the fact, these guys over at WMC, they don't think we have any state debt anymore, Dom.
That's stunning.
I talked to, and it wasn't Kurt Bauer, but I specifically talked to another WMC board member who is a friend of mine, and that person said, I didn't think we had any debt. I'm thinking we're up to like $16 billion in bonding. That is debt. Well, I thought Scott Walker solved all that. Well, that's the story he tells. That's the story your CEO parrots.
Don't you have any intellectual curiosity, people?
I am a member of the local Chamber of Commerce, so by virtue of that, in some twisted sort of way, some of my membership dues probably fund in WMC.
Would you have taken that ad down?
I would not have run that ad. I would not have identified victims, but, I've got a little journalistic background and integrity. So, no, I would not have. It wouldn't have been a hard decision to make. Come back with us. That shouldn't be a hard decision. More Devil's Advocate on the other side.
Makes you look like an ass is what he does, Ed.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hey, Wisconsin, Congresswoman Gwen Moore here, and I'm encouraging you to get out and vote on Tuesday, April 3rd for Rebecca Dallet for Supreme Court. Judge Dallet has spent more than 2 decades as a prosecutor and a judge. She's been a champion for victims of human trafficking, sexual assault, and domestic violence, and she helps make Milwaukee safer for our children. Judge Dallet also understands the challenges of mass incarceration and racial profiling and will make our justice system smarter and more fair. I support Judge Rebecca Dallet, and so should you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Moore. I'm honored to have your support. I'm running because our Supreme Court is broken and special interests have too much power. I will bring independence and balance, and I hope to have your vote.
Vote Dallet on the ballot on Tuesday, April 3rd.
Paid for by Dallet for Justice.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
A gunman at YouTube. Another day out in Oklahoma. I'm Rich Johnson. There is a huge police response right now in suburban San Francisco over an active shooter at the headquarters of YouTube in San Bruno, California. We have no official word of injuries, but some people have been hospitalized. It started about an hour ago, and almost immediately people took to social media to report the gunfire. This woman was on a video conference call with someone inside the YouTube building where whatever happened, happened.
We were all suddenly aware of a lot of sort of noises of sounds of people running outside of the room where she was, and people screaming. And the person who was in the room on the video conference in the building suddenly, became very alarmed and was listening to the sounds and suddenly became, very scared and said, I have to get out of here.
Dozens, if not hundreds, of police and first responders are on that scene. Helicopter pictures show groups of people gathered at a safe distance from the office building. YouTube, which is a division of Google, occupies several buildings on the campus in San Bruno, California. President Trump says until he gets his border wall, he'll send the U.S. military to the border. He also called the current immigration laws pathetic and weak. Officials in the largest school districts in Oklahoma have canceled classes tomorrow for a third day because of a walkout by nearly every public school teacher.
We don't have adequate furniture, textbooks, curriculum. Those things are all stretched as thin as they can be and held together with as much duct tape as we can pay for out of our paychecks.
Jennifer Thornton, one of hundreds of teachers who rallied at the state capitol today. Wall Street, a major rebound after falling early. The Dow closed up about 390 points, or 1.5%. Again, there's an active shooter situation on the campus of YouTube in San Bruno, California, south of San Francisco. No word of injuries, but the police response is massive. I'm Rich Johnson.
Hey, Batman here. Matt Rothschild from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Hoping you'll support us as we track all that dark money that's splattering your screens with mud. You can count on us to tell you who really runs Wisconsin, and it's not Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss. They're just the water boys for the Koch brothers, WMC, the NRA, and Diane Hendricks. You can find all this out at our website at wisdc.org, and while you're there, please send us a donation so we can keep after these bad guys.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Firewalls.
For the first time since 2015, Tiger Woods will compete for the green jacket at the Masters.
Tiger Woods calls his comeback a, quote, miracle. After undergoing spinal fusion surgery to relieve chronic back pain, the four-time Augusta champion says that even to his own surprise, his swing is back.
I don't have any pain. Yes, I'm much tighter, but I don't have any pain, and I've had to really work on strength in different ways. And for some reason, it's come back.
Tiger is one of the co-favorites to win this year, despite the fact that he hasn't won at Augusta since 2005 and hasn't won a major in nearly 10 years. Woods will tee off at 10:42 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. I'm TJ Coutini.
A friend of an accuser of Bill Cosby will testify at Cosby's sexual assault retrial on what she heard the accuser say about getting rich off the story. The judge hearing the case in suburban Philadelphia made that ruling today as jury selection continues. I'm Rich Johnson.
Everybody buckle up. Mom. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom,
buckle
can we get
up.
some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. There will be a listening session tomorrow evening for people to express their concerns about the coal power plants in Oak Creek. Residents who live near the power plants have been complaining about coal dust for several weeks. The companies that run the power plants will be at the listening session. It will be tomorrow evening from 6 to 7:30 at the Oak Creek Library on South 6th Street. And the White House Tavern in Bayview, built in 1890, has been granted interim historic status by the Milwaukee Historic Preservation Commission. Outside today, rainy and windy, then snow likely tonight. Continued windy, 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. Lows tonight in the low 20s. Tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, mostly sunny in the afternoon. Highs tomorrow in the mid-30s. Then for Thursday, partly sunny with highs in the upper 30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Kroot.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Election Day Devil's Advocates radio show. If you have not voted yet, go vote.
Go vote.
Don't let a little rain discourage you. You're not that sweet. You won't melt. Dom didn't melt.
Nah, you're not a snowflake. You can take a little rain and go vote. It's not even snowing in Milwaukee.
Your hair did get a little curly, though.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I don't have that problem.
You haven't had that problem in a long time, Michael.
That is true. Dom, a little tweet I want to share with our audience, and we're going to get back to the phones. 844-967-2789, the political party line. You can toll free call us, I should say, or text us. Once again, 844-96-PARTY. Or you can tweet us at Devil Radio. Scott Bauer with the Associated Press tweeting this afternoon. Milwaukee Election Commissioner Neil Albrecht says turnout in the city is on pace to be 30%, which would be nearly triple the past 2 spring elections. Turnout estimated to be 50% in Madison. Both numbers are good news for liberal at Judge Dallet and bad for at Judge Skrinak. I hope I get at least one more opportunity to mispronounce that man's name this cycle, Dom.
You never know when you might be in court in Sauk County, Crudy.
Yes.
But don't worry.
Could happen.
I'm sure if you ever are in front of that
I've never
judge,
been a defendant in Sauk County before, as far as I know.
Well, see, the night is young. But
it
I'm
is.
just saying, good to know that he will root on the merits of your case and not the fact that you've been calling him mispronouncing his last name for the last 3 months.
I have trouble. What is it? Scrotum? I forget how to say it.
Skrenak.
I'm so close.
Belloc, Skrenak.
Scrotum. Yeah, I got it right the first time. Dom, I'd point out, all these turnout numbers, I'm not going to hurt myself batting WRD 1510 AM and WTTN 1580 AM. Not going to hurt myself pounding ourselves on the back congratulatory. But I have always said, talk radio, a get out the vote mechanism.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote,
Well, those
people.
are projections. I mean, if the trend continues, folks, don't act like this is over. Get up and go do it. I mean, if they're projecting 30% in Milwaukee County, 50% in Dane County,
they'll probably bring back 120% of the vote in Waukesha County.
Right. Go out, prove them wrong, beat the projections. Go out and vote. Grab some friends. Go out and vote. Grab your family. Grab your parents, siblings. Go do it.
Don't forget Kloppenberg-Prosser. Kloppenberg-Prosser. Kathy Nicholas is looking for Brookfield votes still, Dom.
Right.
Let's get to the phones. 844-967-2789. Who's up?
Mark from Prairie du Sac, you're first today. Thanks for calling, man. What do you got?
Hey, guys, I think we should probably put pictures out there of all those guys on the WMC board that failed to take this ad down. I mean, these are the guys that chose to re-victimize those children, or they're no longer children now, perhaps. But I mean, they're the ones that they refuse to take that ad down, and they should enjoy the consequences of it. I mean, but let's face it, these guys, that they're the same guys that probably want to do away with our child labor laws. That
well, Mark, this reminds me of how Gableman got elected. let's not forget the attack on Lewis Butler, sort of a Willie Horton-ish ad that was run against him. You know, this is the thing that galls me about these judicial races. If you get somebody qualified, and I perceive Rebecca Dallet, Judge Dallet, to be qualified, maybe it's the 20 years on the bench, the 10,000 cases, the former resume as a prosecutor, or there's the guy that didn't go to law school, didn't graduate till he was like 37. He had one job, basically being the hack attorney for the Republicans of the state of Wisconsin, and he got a crony appointment in Sauk County from Scott Walker, and suddenly he's Supreme Court judicial material predicated on that very thin and hack-like resume. It's befuddling, but of course, people don't necessarily know, Mark. People don't know the ins and outs of the legal system and connect the dots between who's in whose camp. So what? You get inundated with these ads. You try to watch a little cable news or, The Voice like Dominic, and suddenly you got ads every 2 minutes, and they're rolling out ads, and they're saying, God, soft on crime, easy on sexual offenders. Well, you know what? I really don't like ads of that nature going either way. I mean, sure, I get the fact that there's going to be negative campaigning that goes on. But really, how do you dig one plea bargain case out of 10,000 and say that's reflective of somebody's record? Quite frankly, the accusation made against Dallet about allowing someone to be patted down for standing while black, to me, that would have been a much more effective attack on her. And they didn't choose to go there because, most of their members were probably right in Rebecca Dallet's camp, not thinking that sounded racist at all.
You're right there. I mean, you got, and it's the whole thing that they must have had to really dig through her records to pull that one case out of there, ignoring the fact that that's what the prosecutor recommended. I mean, that it just goes to show how low they will sink to get their guaranteed vote in there, because this guy would never vote against WMC's interest.
And you brought it up, and we appreciate your comments today, Mark. And going against the family's wishes, who were actually the victims and the ones impacted by this case, to pull that ad, and they continued to do it. It's one thing to go negative. I understand that. It's another thing to go so negative you identify child victims of sexual assault, and then knowing that, you do not pull the ad.
Michael Skrenak, my understanding, barely ran for this seat. Effectively, has let third-party groups like WMC do most of the speaking for him.
GOP gave him hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, he hasn't done a lot of public appearances, never been on this radio station. I would point out, way back, Prosser, his re-election campaign against Kloppenberg, I mentioned it a few times today. It's the reason every liberal, every reasoned human being needs to go out and vote in the state of Wisconsin for Dallet today, because you never know when you're going to get another Kloppenberg Prosser. But when the John Doe 2, the last time the Wisconsin Supreme Court basically went against established case law, went against the U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment, and got the ends justifies the means ruling that kept Scott Walker out of jail, or at least, the proverbial doghouse legally, well, Prosser used the justification of the fact that his publicly financed run for the Wisconsin Supreme Court in 2011. At that time, it was publicly funded.
Yep.
Well, his great fear was the outside money, Dom.
Don't we hear Walker say that all the time?
And you can't stop at the outside money he's saying. So therefore, apparently, if you believe the, concurrence with the majority decision in the John Doe 2, it reads like a confessional made by Prosser, and the rationale why he didn't have to recuse himself despite the multiple millions spent in his benefit by WMC. They're litigants before the court. They are defendants, or at least targets of the investigation, much like Scott Walker. Why he didn't have to recuse? Well, it'd been more than a year since they gave him the millions.
Yeah, right.
And if they'd have, made it to trial a little quicker, then he would have recused. But since it'd been way over a year.
Way over.
And he was so fearful of outside money being spent against him that the millions of dollars in outside money spent to his benefit was not justification, was not reason or rationale for the man to recuse himself. In fact, he endorsed the same sort of shoddy collaborative, corrupt behavior that he displayed initially, talking about Prosser when he was in the caucus scandal, when he was teaching Scott Jensen at his knee, protege to mentor. And he did the same damn thing, apparently, in his own Supreme Court race, coordinating with outside groups like WMC, failed to recuse, and gave Scott Walker a get-out-of-jail-free card because he also gave himself a get-out-of-jail-free card at the very same time. I'm talking about Prosser.
These candidates, be it Supreme Court or regular candidates, can no longer sit back with these third parties, and if you get criticized and someone tells you, hey, why don't you reach out to that third party group and tell them to take it down? They can't hide behind well, I can't do that. That's a third party organization anymore. Because you could actually make the suggestion that under the old laws, if you were to tell a third party to stop doing something, that could be considered coordination. Well, coordination is now uniquely legal in the state of Wisconsin, which also means you don't get to hide behind the facade of third party when you're running out ads that re-victimize children over and over and over again. Almost said Prosser. Skrenak, you're part of it. WMC, you're part of it. You made it, and you refused to back down. You are wrong to do so.
And Scott Walker, when he was doing it, it was illegal. He is the original senator in the state of Wisconsin. Shame. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. We know he's a corrupted governor. This show will never be corrupted because nobody pays us. Can't buy me off with beer and...
But you can try. Beer and weed, but you can try.
Please do. Please try. Bring us beer and weed. We will be bought off very cheaply. Yeah, we just look for a good party. Hope to have one later. Celebrating Judge Rebecca Dallet's victory, but only if you vote. Come back. More Devil's Advocates. 844-967-2789. Phone lines open to you.
The biggest fear that I and I think a lot of our supporters have is the outside money.
The irony is a little rich here these days.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
My name is Adam Holmes, and I'm proud to be union.
Adam, you're Director of Training for Painters District Council 7. What do you do?
I'm making sure that we're investing in our members. We're providing the safest and best trained painters, glazers, drywall finishers, and trade show workers in the industry, and we also do that at no cost to the taxpayers.
Why hire unions?
Because it costs less to be safe. We keep the contractor on the right side of OSHA and help keep the workmen's comp rates affordable. Join us, Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
That guy is a scary son of a gun, and I hope people start paying attention and get him the heck out of there, because he's like a big fascist general that's controlling our state, and then our attorney general. Wow, that guy ought to be locked up himself. I mean, he makes the sheriff of Milwaukee look kind of saintly.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, because it's always 420 somewhere.
All right, we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, streaming on YouTube and Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the phone text line 844-967-2789.
Today, 420, is Mueller time.
Yeah.
Dominic, we have our first Trump-Russia sentencing.
What? There's no collusion. There's nothing to see here. Everybody knows that.
Somebody's going to prison. I'll read first. You can go second. A federal judge on Tuesday sentenced Dutch lawyer Alex van der Swan, I got your Alex van der Swan right here, to 30 days in prison for lying to federal investigators, according to multiple reports in the first criminal sentence to result from special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Van der Swan, who was also ordered to pay $20,000 in fines.
Damn.
You know, you can buy a lot of weed with 20 grand.
30 days in the hole and $20K in fines. Maybe work it off making license plates.
Van der Swan pled guilty in late February to making materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statements and representations to the special counsel's office and FBI agents. According to the indictment, Van der Swan lied about his contacts with the Trump campaign official Richard Gates and a Ukraine-based business associate of both Gates and former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort. He then tried to cover his tracks by deleting emails.
That always works.
Did he wipe them with a cloth? Deleting emails that the special counsel's office had requested, Dom.
Press reports have identified the businessman as... What?
Better you than me that gets to say that name.
Konstantin Kilimnik.
See how I did that? I made it seem like it was your idea to read right there.
Jumped on there quick. I just assumed you wanted me to do all the reading. Kilimnik, a former Russian intelligence officer and a longtime associate of Gates and Manafort. The London-based lawyer has no known ties to the Trump campaign, but in a court filing last week, prosecutors alleged that Van der Swan and Gates knowingly had discussions with Kilimnik during the final months of the election. Prosecutors said the communication, quote, was pertinent to the investigation, unquote. Kilimnik has denied involvement with Russian intelligence, as all good spies do.
Don't all KGB agents say, yeah, I joined. I'm part of the team.
In a court filing on Monday, prosecutor Andrew Weissman said Van der Swan, the son-in-law of a Russian oligarch, is in an unusual position of having information related to the Russian probe that is not widely known, including information that he knows firsthand due to his role in the conduct of the office is investigating. Several other Trump campaign associates have also pleaded guilty to various charges stemming from the special investigation. Gates, Papadopoulos, Flynn, they are all cooperating with prosecutors. None of the charges so far, Crudy, directly relate to the issue of whether the Trump campaign colluded with Moscow. But according to a heavily redacted court filing released late Monday, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein gave Mueller the green light to investigate allegations that Manafort colluded with Russia to swing the election.
So they are specifically at the direction of Rod Rosenstein. They are specifically investigating Manafort's collusion with Russia while part of the Trump campaign. So collusion is specifically being investigated.
Yes.
Under the specific directorate of the Department of Justice of the United States.
Which we were all reminded of today.
Hashtag no collusion.
Where do we leave? Manafort has been indicted on numerous charges of fraud and money laundering. You know, this guy was the guy that led Trump's campaign for several months and pleaded not
he's a
guilty
coffee
to all of
boy.
them. Aren't they all? He has not been indicted on any charges related to election interference. I would say, yeah, not yet, Crudy.
Well, Dominic, perhaps this was a little warning shot. Mueller, I mean, I don't mean just the prison time. 30 days, now that seems like a lot of time. And I do not envy the Dutch attorney. I mean, that's going to be a little different. I mean, if you're the son-in-law of a Russian oligarch, I don't think you're up for much prison food. I bet he loses a few pounds. Looked like sort of a skinny runt in the first place. But Dominic, contained in a footnote is a warning shot to Donald Trump. Because let's not forget, the other news that we've learned today will be disclosed to our fair audience right after this short break.
We
can't tell them yet.
Not yet. Let's take
Gotta
a caller.
give them a reason to come back.
Let's take a caller, then we'll get to more detail. 844-967-2789. Crudy, you big tease. Ignacio, you're up. Welcome back, man. What do you got for us?
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Good, Nacho.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man, you're on the air. What do you
What
got?
are you walking through a crumpled paper factory? What are you doing, man?
Well, no, I'm driving. I'm on the 57 freeway going north, which you probably don't know what the hell that means. But anyway, hey, the reason I called was to let you guys, I mean, how crazy is our president becoming? He wants to militarize the southern border.
Well, you got a problem with that?
Seriously, this guy is crazy. I mean, do people really, I mean, do you guys not in Wisconsin notice that this guy is going off the deep end already? I mean,
come on, Ignacio. This is a very fair thing the president proposes. Didn't you hear there's a Dodge Caravan full of immigrants heading our way?
The whole caravan.
He's going to declare martial law within the constitutional powers extended to the president.
Well,
he can declare martial
He
law
certainly could.
in the event of invasion. You know, probably a couple Plymouths and a Chrysler and a Dodge Caravan. They're all coming this way. And that would be an act of war. Shoot them all at the border. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. Your calls as well. 844-967-2789.
If I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail today.
But there's been no collusion, no obstruction, and virtually everybody agrees to that.
Lock her up, lock her up.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
The Devil's Advocates.
We've got U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, our friend, live via phone. Ron, in all seriousness, if this was Barack Obama, you'd be screaming, "Stormy, stormy, stormy," from the rooftops.
You're too young to understand this excuse. This would be the Sergeant Schultz answer, "I know nothing."
But as the chair of the HISCAC, sir, Homeland Security Governmental Affairs Committee, you could get to the bottom of this, could you not, Ron?
I see nothing. I know nothing. Making radio great again.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Promises made.
Have you paid into a pension plan or are currently paying into a pension? Join the Wisconsin Committee to Protect Pensions Saturday, April 21st for an update from Washington, D.C. and the first Special Select Committee. The meeting is at the American Legion Post at 3245 North 124th Street in Brookfield, Wisconsin at 10 a.m. A promise is a promise is a promise. This is an issue that affects everyone. Active workers, retirees, spouses, and veterans are encouraged to attend Saturday, April 21st at the American Legion Post at 3245 North 124th Street in Brookfield at 10 a.m. Meetings are also taking place in Sheboygan, Endeavor, Wausau, and Green Bay. Go to the Wisconsin-Milwaukee Southeast Committee to Protect Pensions Facebook page to learn more. Join us Saturday, April 21st, 10 a.m., the American Legion Post in Brookfield. It's not their money, it's yours.
We were wrong. They stole our pensions.
Hello, friends. Tom Alonzi from Teamsters Local 200. Local 200 has union members from up north in Fond du Lac all the way down to the Illinois state line, from the shores of Lake Michigan out to Waukesha. Here's a fact. Teamster union members negotiate living wages and affordable health care benefits where they work with their union representative. If you're a worker interested in receiving better wages and benefits and respect at your workplace, give Teamsters Local 200 a call at 414-771-6363 and ask to speak to a Teamsters Local 200 organizer today.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. There will be a listening session tomorrow evening for people to express their concerns about the coal power plants in Oak Creek. Residents who live near the power plants have been complaining about coal dust for several weeks. The companies that run the power plants will be at the listening session. It will be tomorrow evening from 6 to 7:30 at the Oak Creek Library on South 6th Street. And yesterday was opening day at Miller Park. Unfortunately, the Brewers lost to the Cardinals 8-4. The two teams will play Game 2 of the 3-game series tonight. Outside today, rainy and windy, then snow likely tonight. Continued windy, 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. Lows tonight in the low 20s. Tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, mostly sunny in the afternoon. Highs tomorrow in the mid-30s. Then for Thursday, partly sunny with highs in the upper 30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
60% of the time, they're right every time. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Have you voted? It's Election Day in the state of Wisconsin. We expect you all to do your civic duty. Go vote. Dallet on the ballot. Vote no, we don't want to eliminate the treasurer. And then come back and turn the Devil's Advocates show back on. You might have missed something, and then you'll have to listen.
But if you did miss something, you can go online.
To the podcast, right?
Podcast interviews, domandcroot.com. Always there, always fresh.
Dominic, it's Mueller time. Philip Bump, Washington Post. In a footnote, Mueller sends a warning shot to Trump. I like warning shots at Trump. Pew-pew. Paul Manafort's legal strategy for evading the charges filed against him by special counsel Robert Mueller were fairly straightforward. His attorneys argued, among other things, that many of the charges Manafort faces, which include fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy, are largely outside the scope of Mueller's authority. After all, Mueller was appointed to investigate collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign during the 2016 race. What does Manafort's allegedly having laundered money by buying real estate in Brooklyn have to do with any of that? Late Monday night, Mueller's team answered in the form of a 53-page response to Manafort's motion to dismiss the charges. Not only did Mueller explain why he had the authority to prosecute Manafort for alleged financial crimes, but in a footnote, he explained why he also has the authority to investigate any attempts to obstruct his probe, Dom, including presumably by the President of the United States. The broad argument made by Mueller's team in response to the memo goes something like this. When he was appointed by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein in May, after Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused from any investigations involving the 2016 presidential campaign, Rosenstein issued a public outline of the scope of Mueller's authority. We've walked through this before, but includes 3 main points. 1, any links and or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the campaign of President Donald Trump. 2, any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation. 3, any other matters within the scope of 28 CFR 600.4A, the section of the Code of Federal Regulations 28 CFR 600.4A allows Mueller to investigate federal crimes committed in the course of and with the intent to interfere with the special counsel's investigation. What, see Trump firing Comey and then telling Lester Holt on NBC? It took all the Russian pressure off. That would be obstruction, but I just, editorialize in the midst. I read on. Mueller's response to Manafort notes that his having financial ties to Russian interests alone falls under the purview of the first point above. Read you that point, right, Dom? Here's a quote. Manafort joined the Trump campaign as a convention manager in March of 2016 after serving many cups of coffee, and served as campaign chairman from May of 2016 until his resignation in August of 2016 after reports surfaced of his financial activities in Ukraine. The Mueller response reads, back to the quotes, he thus constituted an individual associated with the campaign of President Donald Trump. He was, in addition, an individual with long ties to Russian-backed Ukrainian politicians. I read on briefly, Dom, then I'll have you take over. An investigation of possible links and or coordination between the Russian government in its political interference campaign and individuals associated with the campaign of President Donald Trump would naturally cover ties that a former Trump campaign manager had to the Trump-associated political operatives, Russian-backed politicians, and Russian oligarchs, Mueller later points out. But Dom, there's a message in that response memo, and I'd like you to share it with the audience.
We're reading from the Washington Post. Philip Bump. In a footnote, Mueller sends a warning shot to Trump. I continue on. But the response memo also reviews that Rosenstein issued a confidential memo in August detailing areas that Mueller had the authority to investigate. Among those were specific allegations involving crimes arising out of payments he received from the Ukrainian government before and during the tenure of President Viktor Yanukovych. Those payments are at the heart of the indictments filed against Manafort. The allegation is that he laundered the money he received and didn't properly report its receipt or his advocacy for Ukraine. Nothing in the regulations establishing the special counsel requires that the specific factual statement be provided publicly. Mueller's memo reads, Rosenstein's private document detailing what Mueller can look into would therefore rebut Manafort's claim that Mueller was exceeding his authority. After all, he was granted this specific authority in August.
So super secret authority granted in August to specifically look at Manafort's connections to Yanukovych.
And nothing has to be specifically, a specific factual statement need not necessarily be provided publicly. Again, very important. I'll continue on with Philip Bump in the Washington Post. What's more, the special counsel has the ability to explore new lines of questioning as needed, Mueller's memo argues. To maintain some independence from the Justice Department, it must have some latitude to extend beyond the known facts at the time of a special counsel's appointment, or the special counsel would not be free of day-to-day or indeed minute-to-minute supervision by any official of the department as intended in the statute. The statute gives the Attorney General, or in this case Rosenstein, the authority to approve of lines of inquiry and prosecutions. To that end, Mueller response cites the regulations establishing the special counsel, quote, If the special counsel concludes that additional jurisdiction beyond that specified in his or her original jurisdiction is necessary in order to fully investigate and resolve the matters assigned, or to investigate new matters that come to light in the course of his or her investigation, he or she shall consult with the Attorney General, who will determine whether to include the additional matters within the special counsel's jurisdiction or to assign them elsewhere. And here's where things really get interesting, in a footnote appended to that quote. The special counsel also has the authority to investigate and prosecute federal crimes committed in the course of and with intent to interfere with the special counsel's investigation, such as perjury, obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, and intimidation of witnesses, and has the authority to conduct appeals arising out of the matter being investigated and or prosecuted. Those authorities are not at issue here. This is a direct quote from the section of the Code of Federal Regulations we noted in the third bullet point above. There are a few ways to read this. The first is that the special counsel was preemptively rebutting any assertion from Manafort's team that the special counsel lacks the ability to bring charges on having misled investigators. The fifth count in the superseding indictment against Manafort specifically addresses his having provided false statements to the Justice Department. His footnote reminds the reader that the special counsel can bring charges to that end as well, though the ability is not an issue here. But the footnote also serves as a broader reminder to observers. Mueller's team has a specific authority to investigate not only false statements to which 4 individuals have already pled guilty, but also broader efforts to obstruct justice and intimidate witnesses. And this isn't a function of a private memo issued by Rosenstein in August. It's right there in his public order giving Mueller special counsel authority.
You think that's got to have Trump a little nervous, right? Lots of obstruction going on, lots of tweeting going on, be it McCabe, be it Jeff Sessions, be it Comey. I mean, he's gone after lots and lots of DOJ officials, and let's not forget, he's also tweeted at Mueller himself.
Continuing on in Philip Bump, the Washington Post, the Mueller filing goes a step further, though. It includes a redacted version of Rosenstein's August memo demonstrating that Mueller was given the specific authority that Manafort contests. But it also includes this paragraph.
Another secret super-duper paragraph, Don? Please do share.
You therefore have authority to continue and complete the investigation of those matters and additional matters described in 28 CFR 600.4a. For additional matters that otherwise may have arisen or may arise directly from the investigation, you should consult my office for a determination of whether such matters should be within the scope of your authority. That memo was dated August 2nd, 2017. This was a little less than a month after the New York Times first reported that Manafort had joined Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner in a meeting at Trump Tower involving a Kremlin-linked lawyer. The initial response from Trump Jr. to reports of that meeting contained a misleading description of its origin, a misleading description that the Washington Post later reported was dictated by the president himself. And finally,
I didn't know you couldn't write false statements on behalf of your son about Russian collusion happening at the Trump Tower. I mean, I'm looking for a defense for the man, Dom. There's got to be some logical, plausible deniability here, doesn't there?
If the president does it, it must be legal. Wrapping up Philip Bump in the Washington Post. That misleading response, talking about the Trump Tower response, and then communications director Hope Hicks' alleged assurance that emails contradicting it would never get out, is reportedly central to Mueller's obstruction of justice investigation. In August, Rosenstein reinforced that any such obstruction investigation should be continued and completed, which Mueller made public in his filing on Monday night. Mueller plays his cards close to the chest, and we often find ourselves in the position of trying to read his mind. In this case, we may be overestimating the message intended by footnote number 6. Or perhaps he is reminding the world and the president that if he sees potential obstruction of his investigation, he has the full authority to chase it down.
How could he miss it? It's all around him.
All you got to do is look.
It seems quite obvious to anyone not named Sean Hannity that the president's made every endeavor to obstruct the authority of the special counsel. Perhaps, Dom, although it didn't happen over the Easter weekend as Crudy predicted, perhaps a Saturday night massacre is in order. And in fact, a local conservative You know him. He used to be on Righty Whitey Radio across town. Charlie Sykes, he's got a few thoughts on the matter.
Oh, he's still around?
Well, he's, an MSNBC contributor now. Got my job, son of a mother. Can't believe Charlie Sykes is getting MSNBC money, and I'm here stuck with you. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. What's Charlie Sykes got to say? Well, the noose is tightening, and perhaps a Saturday night massacre is in order. More Devil's Advocates. It's an Election Day Tuesday. Go vote and then come back to your radios. We'll be right here at 1510 a.m. and 1580 a.m.
A lot of people are disappointed in the Justice Department, including me. If I were to guess, I have one name in mind.
Give me a break.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster.
And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and puts his helmet on and he gets off and he makes a speech, but he's always riding like, he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy, okay, or a little tough guy.
Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know,
I'm using facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Have you got your head in the clouds on how to manage IT for your enterprise? We can make your dreams a reality. With our enterprise cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting, we'll manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Consider Five Nines your personal enterprise IT solution. Enjoy technology. For more information, visit fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
The Devil's Advocates.
My Congresswoman Gwen Moore.
I think that you guys are filling a very important space. I think African Americans consume radio at a very high rate. And they really rely on radio for information. And so, word of warning to all those candidates out there, don't ignore these inexpensive ways to advertise.
Well, wait until we get our FM. They're going to get more expensive all the time.
Radio for the 99%.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Crazy e-bike Lenny, where you been? We've been missing your nonsense on this radio station.
Come on, Trump is all the nonsense you need, but Crazy Lenny's e-bikes has some real sense. 2017 top-of-the-line, gold standard, 60-mile range e-bikes, liquidation price to $900. 60 miles with both pedal and throttle assist. A $2,000 e-bike for $900. This bike is great.
That's crazy.
And it's not fake news.
Go see my friend Lenny, 6017 Odana Road, Madison. Tell him the Devil's Advocate sent you.
The Devil's Advocates, because freedom.
And we are back. Thank you for listening. The Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio. And on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Dominic met Charlie Sykes over the winter. What were we at? Some Milwaukee Press Club Hall of Fame honoree banquet, I think. Gary Goike, our host, Earl Ingram Jr. from this fine radio station there, saw Robin Voss and his new wife.
Oh, yeah.
And we also saw Charlie Sykes. I played very nonchalant, never a big fan of Charlie's. It's not so much the fact that he was a righty-whitey talker in this town for 23 years. It's the fact that he's getting all the good MSNBC gigs. Right. That really sticks in my craw a little. And today he appeared, the topic, the new Mueller sentencing of Vander Svan, or whatever his name is, Jean-Claude Van Damme, whatever that guy's name is. But here's what Charlie Sykes had to say, according to Bob Brigham at the Ross Story. Conservative commentary, Charlie Sykes warned that President Donald Trump may take extraordinary action to obstruct special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation as the probe closes in on the White House. Now, he was on with Nicole Wallace on the MSNBC. Here is what she said. People are going to jail for lying for and about the president's associates. And here's what Sykes replies. Yeah, and the news seems to be tightening around the inner circle. I think the president's penchant for surrounding himself with misfit toys and creating a climate of dishonesty, I think it's coming back to haunt him. I'm really fascinated thinking about what a history of this period is going to look back on. He said, you know, when we finally figure out all the pieces of this puzzle, all the denials, you know, all of the attempts to cover this up and to obstruct it, how that will look. The comments from the White House, denial from the various sycophants in the media. You used to be one of those yourself, Charlie.
Still is.
The obstruction by House Republicans in all of this. He continued, we're getting a sense this is getting very, very close to this campaign. He continues, if this was true that in fact you had a conspiracy to undermine and interfere in the American democratic process that might have compromised the President of the United States, Sykes concluded, I mean, this is the stuff of Homeland. This is the stuff of the Americans. The conservative who hosts the Daily Standard podcast said that there may be a couple of aces in the hole. And this is what's got me nervous, Tom. Here's what Charlie Sykes thinks Donald Trump might have up his sleeve. He has two trump cards. He can fire the investigator or he can come up with those pardons. And I think they may be unconventional opinion. The closer it gets, the more likely this guy who is unchained might do one of those two things. Which will it be, Dom? Pardons or a Saturday Night Massacre? Do you think special counsel Mueller gets fired and then they have to, place a new special counsel? Because it doesn't end there. We've had Jim Santel, a former U.S. attorney. He points out a single pardon, the elimination of Mueller as the investigator. Well, that doesn't destroy the evidence. That doesn't get rid of the history. And there's a trail in the very next special counsel. And inevitably, there would be another special counsel to pick up the investigation. Well, the investigation would go on, Dom. But I think, if humanly possible, and it's got to be questioned. I mean, the man claims he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and somehow get more votes. And probably that might be true. But I don't know how he would survive a Saturday Night Massacre, how he would survive the firing of special counsel Mueller, especially if Democrats do our damn job and win back 30 or 40 House seats. If we have control of the House and he fires Mueller, it's all over but the impeachment trial.
I would first like to start out by saying, Charlie Sykes, you are one of the problems. You can't just, step away from the local market here and think that you had nothing to do with it. For 20 plus years, you railed against the what? The lefty media? What's the insinuation with the left-wing media? Well,
Fake news.
Fake news. I mean, you planted this seed corn a long time ago, Charlie Sykes, and now you still continue to profit from it. And you can, meander around your philosophy and be a never Trumper, and now try to come off like some sort of reasonable conservative.
Compassionate conservative.
Whatever.
Perhaps,
you were part of the problem. You're still part of the problem. That being said, if this gets closer, and you talk about, we read the last article talking with the Manafort and Mueller's response to Manafort trying to get this thing kicked out. Mueller has every right opportunity, every mean to go after everybody. And if you were part of that meeting in Trump Tower, the kids, the son-in-law, the whole crew, his whole posse, everybody goes down. Everybody goes down. So the question is, now knowing that is the option, well, yeah, I think if his back is to the wall, sure, he might do that. He might try to fire Mueller. He might try to pardon some folks. But what does that do? Firing Mueller doesn't get rid of the investigation. A new investigator pops
It might
up.
delay the investigation. That would be his goal. Just run out the clock, perhaps.
What's the clock? That he's out of office? Fine. Resign now. I'll cut you a deal right now, Trump. Resign and go away. We'll let the whole thing go away. No, I don't think you got to punish it. You can't. If this is Charlie Sykes. This guy is the one who kind of helped start this whole thing in the state of Wisconsin. Let's not forget, Wisconsin was one of the swing states. Wisconsin was one of the states that, Cambridge Analytica, the Walker data mining, well, that was first done here, or at least one of the very first states here. It was very successful, wasn't it, Charlie? When it was all your guys, you're all about it. Now, the result of that activity and your support of Walker in this process got a guy like Trump in office, and now you try to backpedal and think, hey, this is something of Homeland or some TV show. This isn't a TV show. This is a terrible insinuation. If the president was colluding and his whole crew with Russians, that's treason. You should hang them high. And guys like you, even to this day, even though you might not admit it, you might try to turn away from your past and your part in this, you are part of the problem, and you have Crudy's job. You should be on MSNBC.
Yes, I should. The only appearance nationally I made this year, Fox News. I made, what's his name? Joe Wilson, made him stutter. The topic. Of course, Donald Trump was pandering to the very richest with his tax cuts. I'm better on Fox News than the conservatives, and I'm certainly too good looking for MSNBC. I'll have to leave that for you, Charlie. Come back with us. Devil's Advocates Radio, the happy hour. It's going to start right now.
We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house.
I believe that I'm being called to lead by helping to clear the field in this race so that a positive conservative message can rise to the top of the field.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Diamond Crude Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know. Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
I'm State Representative Jocasta Zamaripa.
And I'm Joel Clayfish.
Listen to us on the Joel and Jocasta Show, Saturdays at 3 p.m.
She's a Latina woman from the inner city of Milwaukee, and I'm a white guy from the suburbs. Diversity in the white guy. You are not going to believe what you hear on this show. I'm telling you, you're going to have to listen. News Talk, 1510 a.m., WRRD.
Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
You are listening to 1510 a.m. WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 a.m. WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Special report, YouTube headquarters shooting. A massive law enforcement presence remains at the scene of a shooting at the campus of YouTube's corporate headquarters near San Francisco, where a female suspect is dead. San Bruno, California Police Chief Ed Barberini says others were wounded.
We have 4 victims who have all been transported for gunshot-related injuries, and we have 1 subject who's deceased inside the building with a self-inflicted wound that at this time we believe to be the shooter, but we're still following up on that.
Barberini says authorities are combing the facility where the shooting occurred to make sure there are no other suspects.
We are clearing the building and searching the building in a slow, methodical manner like we would do anyway. So we haven't eliminated that possibility, but we have no information to suggest that there's somebody else in there that we're looking for.
A spokesman for San Francisco General Hospital says 1 victim, a 36-year-old man, is reported to be in critical condition. Another is in serious condition. I'm Ann Cates. President Trump remains agitated about immigration and the border with Mexico.
President Trump continuing his agitation about not getting all the money he wants for the border wall, promising a major change in policy.
Until we can have a wall and proper security, we're going to be guarding our border with the military.
The president has floated the idea of border security being a matter of defense and having Pentagon funds diverted to construction of the wall. As for the caravan of Central American migrants he's tweeted alarmingly about since the weekend, word has arrived.
So Mexico has, at this moment, it seems they've broken up large numbers of that particular caravan.
But he still threatens scuttling the NAFTA trade deal if Mexico doesn't do more for border security. Bob Costantini, the White House.
After severe losses yesterday, Wall Street went on the rebound today. The Dow gained 389 points, the S&P up 33, the Nasdaq up 71. I'm Ann Cates.
I'm Andy Buck, and I'm proud to be union.
Tell me about the underground economy.
Well, the underground economy is essentially workers being exploited, and they're being exploited all over the state. They're working for no benefits, no retirement, and if you don't join your brothers and sisters, you don't respect your craft.
Andy, why should I hire union?
Crudy, you should hire union because you want the job done right the first time. We represent the highest skilled, safety-trained workers in the industries that we represent. Glazers, painters, and drywall finishers. Join us. Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
In the wake of a disaster, what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket, a tent, a sandbag, a doctor. Actually, if you send a monetary donation, you send all these things. Even a small donation can make a big impact and can quickly become exactly what people affected by disaster need most.
In the wake of a hurricane, your monetary donation can make a huge difference to those in need. To donate, visit supporthurricanerelief.org. That's supporthurricanerelief.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
91 Bible.
Major League Baseball is tapping into the Chinese market in a big way.
The league has announced a deal with China's biggest tech company, Tencent, to stream 125 games this season. Tencent, who says they have over 1 billion active users, will stream regular season games on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And the deal includes the All-Star Game, the postseason, the World Series, and a weekly highlight show. MLB becomes just the latest in major professional sports in America to expand its presence in China, joining similar efforts made by the NBA, NFL, and NHL. I'm TJ Coutini.
Roseanne just wasn't a hit on opening night. The revived ABC comedy had legs. Nielsen says viewership for the show's premiere shot up to 25 million when you count people who watched the episode 3 days after last Tuesday's premiere. Never before has a show gained that many viewers via time shifting within 3 days. The boost lifted Roseanne Barr past the ratings for Stormy Daniels' interview on 60 Minutes. I'm Ann Cates.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke,
When Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
I got to tell you, so when I first moved to Green Bay to play football in '92, I had never been to Wisconsin. But the funniest thing I thought, you could not buy hamburger patties without a dollop of butter on them.
Folks, just so you know, if you take a little bit of herb butter and put it in the middle of a patty and just kind of mold it around there, you get magic. I have one of my arteries right now.
How much did you say you weighed?
I'm gaining weight with my thoughts right now.
You're $3 bills and some change already, brother.
Guns Butter Economics, 414 Wisconsin, weekdays 2 to 3 p.m. on Wisconsin's Resistance. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Today is Election Day in Wisconsin. On the ballot is a seat on the state Supreme Court and a referendum question that asks if you want to eliminate the office of state treasurer. The polls are open until 8 p.m. and you can register at the polls. To find out where your polling place is, go to myvote.wi.gov. And Wisconsin taxpayers will pay $30,000 to settle a lawsuit brought against Republican State Representative Dale Koinga after he removed a protest sign critical of Republicans from a public area of the Capitol. Outside today, rainy and windy, then snow likely tonight. Continued windy, 1 to 3 inches of accumulation, lows tonight in the low 20s. Tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, mostly sunny in the afternoon, highs tomorrow in the mid-30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, we're sliding into the Election Day happy hour right here on Brady Street. If you haven't voted yet, go vote. Go vote now. Polls open till 8 in Wisconsin. A very important day. We recommend you vote for Rebecca Dallet, Judge Dallet on the ballot. Also, vote no. We don't want to eliminate the Wisconsin State Treasurer. Had Jack Voigt on, a former Wisconsin Treasurer. That's an important job if you do it right.
A former Wisconsin State Treasurer and current Republican. He was a Republican then. He's still a Republican, and he still thinks that this job should be here for those who are qualified and able to perform its duties.
Well, and it's not just about preserving the sanctity of the job. It's about representing the people of Wisconsin against corporations, as Jack Voigt described, like Menards, that might try to, what, not pay on like $5 million worth of gift cards?
I know, man.
Republicans.
You know, if you don't like
they
the guy,
love them some corporations.
Who's the current treasurer?
Adamczyk.
If you don't like the job, and it sounds like you're getting a hell of a salary for not doing the job, maybe you should just leave the job and go get a real job. You know, one where you got to show up and work every day instead of calling it in, pretending to be the Wisconsin State Treasurer.
You think he's laying some per diem on top?
Oh, if he can, of course he is.
You know, I had to go eat lunch from the job I'm not performing. Woo, long days at the office of not doing my job.
Hell, I want that job.
Dom, it is Election Day, and I want to talk about a little bit of a postmortem. Of course, we reference the 2016 elections here in the state of Wisconsin and elsewhere. Aaron Blake at the Washington Post. President Trump has said repeatedly that Russian interference didn't matter in the 2016 presidential campaign, and he has suggested wrongly that the intelligence and law enforcement communities have said the same. His overriding fear seems to be that Russian interference and the fake news it promoted would undermine the legitimacy of his election win.
Yes.
Trump won't like this new study one bit. The study from researchers at The Ohio State University, I don't like Ohio State, but we'll read the study, finds that the fake news probably played a significant role in depressing Hillary Clinton's support on Election Day. The study, which has not been peer-reviewed, but which may be the first look at how fake news affected voter choices, suggests that about 4% of President Barack Obama's 2012 supporters were dissuaded from voting for Clinton in 2016 by belief in fake news stories. Fake news! Richard Gunther, Paul A. Beck, and Eric C. Nisbet, the study's authors, inserted 3 popular fake news stories from the 2016 campaign into a 281-question YouGov survey given to the sample that included 585 Obama supporters, 23% of whom did not vote for Clinton, either by abstaining or picking another candidate. 10% voted for Trump, which is in line with other estimates. Here are the false stories along with the percentages of Obama supporters who believed that they were probably true in parentheses. They got T-bowed, Dom.
Don't get T-bowed.
Story number 1, Clinton was in very poor health due to serious illness. 12% of Obama voters believed that. Number 2, Pope Francis endorsed Trump. 8% apparently of Obama voters believed that. Number 3, Clinton approved weapon sales to Islamic jihadists, including ISIS. Well, there was a 20% belief in that. Fake news story, Dom.
Overall, about 1/4 of the 2012 Obama voters believed at least one of these stories. And of that group, 45% voted for Clinton. Of those who believed none of the fake stories, 89% voted for Clinton. This alone does not prove that fake news made a difference, of course. A recent Princeton-led study of fake news consumption during the 2016 campaign found that false articles made up 2.6% of all hard news articles late in 2016 campaign, with the stories most often reaching intense partisans who probably were not persuadable. And it wouldn't be surprising if Obama voters who weren't reliable Democratic supporters were more apt to believe fake news stories that affirmed their decision not to vote for Clinton. So the researchers sought to control for other factors such as gender, race, age, education, political leaning, and even personal feelings about Clinton and Trump using multiple regression analysis, a method to measure the relative impact of multiple independent variables. According to the researchers, all of these factors combined to explain 38% of the defection of Obama voters from Clinton, but belief in fake news explained an additional 11%. For those defecting from Clinton, believing fake news had a greater effect than anything except being a Republican or personally disliking Clinton. Obama voters who believed one of these fake stories were 3.9 times more likely to defect from the Democratic ticket in 2016 than those who believed none of the false claims.
Hold on. So if I'm understanding this study, if you believed any of these 3 fake news stories, Clinton in very poor health due to serious illness, Pope Francis endorsed Trump, or Clinton approved weapon sales to Islamic jihadists, including ISIS, if you believed either of those 3 stories, you were what, 4 times more likely to defect from the Democratic ticket?
That's correct. We cannot prove that belief in fake news caused these former Obama voters to defect from the Democratic ticket in 2016, they write. These data strongly suggest, however, that exposure to fake news did have a significant impact on voting decisions.
Well, thank God that, Donald Trump won such a landslide, especially in the upper Midwest states of, I'm thinking like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Thank God that it wasn't close here.
Funny you bring that up. I continue. Exactly how that translates into raw votes and whether it swung the election is the big question, and the one that seems to preoccupy Trump. it's difficult to know how fake news played specifically in the 3 states that delivered him the presidency: Michigan, Pennsylvania, and the Badger State, Wisconsin. But the fact that Clinton lost each of these divisive states by less than 1 percentage point means that even a slight impact by Russia and or fake news, or even then FBI Director James Comey's announcement about Clinton emails or some other factor, could logically have changed the result. But we can use this study to glean clues and even rerun a hypothetical 2016 election. The Washington Post polling director Scott Clement ran a predictive probability analysis using OSU's team data and compared the existing 2016 election to a hypothetical election in which these fake stories didn't exist. The result? Clinton lost 4.2% more of Obama's votes in the race with fake news versus the hypothetical race without it. I'll repeat the result. Clinton lost 4.2% more of Obama's votes in the race with the fake news versus the hypothetical without it.
If we multiply that 4.2% drop-off by Obama's 2012 vote share in the 3 key states that delivered the presidency to Trump, it suggests, and here's the one that's going to stick in your craw, people, it suggests that fake news cost Clinton about 2.2 or 2.3 points apiece in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And Clinton lost Michigan by just 0.2 points, and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin by 0.72 and 0.76 points, respectively, about 23,000 votes. The differential, Dominic. And what do we see here? About 2.3% of the vote affected by fake news. One more paragraph at least. This one's almost at conclusion. These are rough estimates, to be clear. But notably, Clinton's estimated drop-off in each state would be about 3 times bigger or more than the impact study of fake news. That would mean that for fake news not to have made the difference, according to these data, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin would have had to be uniquely impervious to the effects of fake news compared to the rest of the country. Now, I would point out, if you think we're somehow impervious to fake news here in the great state of Wisconsin, yeah. Cruz won the primary on the Republican side, and then Donald Trump won the general election. And I would say somebody pushed voters to vote the way they did. Listen to a little righty-whitey talk radio and tell me it's nothing but the facts. All the truth, no fake news. No alternative facts. Of course, we know they spice it in liberally with the fake news, Dom.
Yeah.
What's the last point here?
I'll finish it up. The survey,
you bring it home.
The survey also notably doesn't measure what effect fake news might have had on increasing Trump support, instead only focusing on how it depressed Clinton's. That could increase the shift, but even with this limited preview, it suggests it made a significant difference. And it suggests it may well have cost Clinton the presidency. Yes, this is looking at it from Clinton's standpoint. Does not take into effect what the fake news did to bolster Trump's support. Add that onto the 2.2 to 2.3%. Hell, it could be double.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. We are on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, 1510 AM Milwaukee, Waukesha, 1580 Columbus, Madison. And I would say this, it is an election day in the state of Wisconsin. And the only way we can make sure that the righty-whitey fake news channeled by WMC on every TV screen, the attacks on Rebecca Dallet, well, there's only one way to make sure the fake news does not prevail. Turn out, vote early and often, you blue-centric Dems. Go out there, push Judge Rebecca Dallet to the finish line. There's still time to vote. Wisconsin polls, they don't close till 8. And my understanding, the Victory Party at Good City Brewing in Milwaukee, the Judge Rebecca Dallet Victory Party, well, that gets underway at 8:01 p.m. Central Time. Hope to have a good buzz on by then. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. It's the happy hour. If I had booze, I'd drink it.
We'd like to have Russia's help. Very important.
We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house.
We're like the stupid people.
We are the People for People, People Corporation. We are a registered 501c3, totally legit. What do? We take your uncapped, dark money, tax-deductible donations, private or corporate, always anonymous, and we turn it into free speech. You know, educate Wisconsin through advertising, which may or may not be in coordination with the candidate. Isn't that illegal? It should be, but it's not under Wisconsin law, thanks Governor Scott Walker. Politicians in Wisconsin are beholden to the millionaire and billionaire sugar daddy and sugar mamas that finance their campaigns. Time to make them beholden to we the people for People Corporation. Give your tax-deductible donation to the real patriots, the People for People Corporation, P for ppc.org, P, the number 4, ppc.org.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values, building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Hello, I'm State Senator LaTanya Johnson. Making sure Wisconsin residents continue to have equal and fair access to voting is very important to me. Here are some key things you should know. Wisconsin requires a photo ID, and chances are you already have what you need to vote. A Wisconsin DMV issued driver's license. You can use this even if it's revoked or suspended. A Wisconsin DMV issued identification card. A military ID issued by the U.S. Uniformed Services, or a U.S. passport book or card. You can use these items even if they're expired, as long as the expiration date is after the most recent general election held on November 8, 2016. For more information about registering to vote, please visit myvote.wi.gov or call the Wisconsin Election Commission Help Desk at 608-261-2028. We won't be taken for granted.
This message was brought to you by WRRD 1510 AM.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
31? I mean, 13?
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. He realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
The big and tall of political talk. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines are open for your take. You can text or call at 844-967-2789.
Talk radio, including this sort of slightly left of center talk radio product that we are, is all about getting out the vote. It is an election day in the state of Wisconsin. If you have not voted yet, do so on your way home. Polls open till 8 o'clock. We recommend Rebecca Dallet on the ballot. Judge Dallet for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Vote no. Do not eliminate the Wisconsin treasurer. And however you vote on local school board races, do what you got to do. Just pay attention if you can. And if not, please text Tom and not me. I don't know every race in your local community. I would give you advice otherwise. I've been tweeted or texted many times today.
Yeah?
I've given the advice I can.
Well, that's all you can do.
Now, I did have a nice little chat session at the polling place today. I was recognized being the C-list
cool
celebrity I am. At least in my hometown, when I go to vote, I got a few. They address me as they should have, Mr. Crute.
Not Maestro?
Conquistador. I'd like you to call me Conquistador. Dom, let's get back into the headlines. Talking about fake news in Sinclair Broadcasting.
Oh.
I don't know if you know this, Dom, but in my hometown, Madison, Wisconsin, there's a Sinclair-owned station, Fox 47, and they got their news at 9. Dom, I often catch the early news. Well, I often catch the later news. I watch lots of news.
Right.
Sort of an occupational hazard. But wanted to share this with you. Avery Anapol, a Sinclair-owned television station in Wisconsin, spoke out Monday against the company's new mandated promotional message, choosing not to air the announcement over the weekend. The conservative broadcasting company has caused a stir for requiring its anchors to read aloud a promotional message warning against fake stories in other media outlets. WMSN Fox 47 Madison did not air the Sinclair promotional announcement during our 9 p.m. news this weekend, the station tweeted. In response to the Sinclair message aired, did not air the WMSN. I'm reading now from the tweet. I'm sorry. WMSN Fox 47 Madison did not air the Sinclair promotional announcement during our 9 p.m. news this weekend. Rather, we stayed true to our commitment to provide our Madison area viewers local news, weather, and sports of interest to them. Now, this was a well-received tweet in my hometown, Dom. Several prominent media figures, including Joe Scarborough, Jimmy Kimmel, and John Oliver, have criticized the message, talking about Sinclair's, not Fox 47's, which calls out biased and fake news and says national media outlets are publishing these same fake news stories without checking facts first. Nothing says we value our independent media like dozens of reporters forced to repeat the same message over and over again, like members of a brainwashed cult. Oliver said on his HBO show, a Democratic congressional candidate pulled her campaign ads from a Sinclair-owned station, calling the message right-wing propaganda. And President Trump, of course, defended Sinclair against the backlash in a tweet Monday morning. Here's what Trump said. So funny to watch fake news networks among the most dishonest group of people I've ever dealt with, present company excluded, criticize Sinclair Broadcasting for being biased. Sinclair is far superior to CNN and even more fake NBC, which is a total joke. Well, Dom, I would just point out, Fox 47 in Madison, while owned by Sinclair, is staffed by another news station in town. So the anchors provided to this Sinclair-owned station, they're rental anchors, effectively, Dom.
Crudy, a Sinclair-owned station in Portland, Oregon, took a different tact. Here is what the general manager, Rob Truman, said. Please do not answer any questions or get into any discussion with callers as they try to navigate to someone internally. Most certainly don't talk to the press about the issue. Direct them to the website and press inquiries to me. I will also remind you that giving statements to the media or sharing negative information about the company can have huge implications.
You will be fired. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. No fake news here. Although we do have a federal settlement by a Republican state lawmaker, and you're going to want to hear all about it. Easy for me to say. We'll be right back. More Devils.
I didn't get a harumph out of that guy. Even their new motto, resist. And I guess it's a pretty accurate motto. Every time I see it, I say, that's right.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. it doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
Live via phone, he is former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel.
Firing Bob Mueller doesn't mean that the prosecution, the investigation goes away. Pardoning one individual does not mean that you undo everything that has been done before. So this notion that somehow by shutting down and by pardoning and by sort of stopping the process, you're also stopping the wheels of justice is simply, again, it's simply wrong.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 a.m. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Believe me, there is no collusion. Believe me.
Matt Rothschild here from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. I love being on Resistance Radio because I get to tell you who's throwing money around in the state capitol. It's disgusting. Wisconsin's not open for business. It's open for bribery. And Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss have turned the Capitol into an ATM for their corporate cronies. At the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign, we blow the whistle on all of them. So please go to our website at wisdc.org, check out our latest stories, and send us a donation. We need a louder whistle.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, I work hard to be a leader in my industry, and I know the challenges posed by changing technology. It's my priority to make sure your network is up over 99% of the time. There's no question, trying to manage your own business IT is risky, costly, and time-consuming. Don't let IT overwhelm you. Learn more about Five Nines at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
In this hot real estate market, don't pay 5 or 6% commission. With Homeowners Concept Realtors, you pay no more than 3.9% for full service. Homeowners Concept Realtors sell many more homes per year than the average agent. That's experience you can count on. If you're thinking of selling, call 414-258-7778 for an agent that specializes in your area for ideas on price, marketing, and staging your home. The more you know, you'll wisely choose Homeowners Concept 3.9% Realtors. HomeownersConcept.com.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Today is Election Day in Wisconsin. On the ballot is a seat on the state Supreme Court and a referendum question that asks if you want to eliminate the office of state treasurer. The polls are open until 8 p.m. and you can register at the polls. To find out where your polling place is, go to myvote.wi.gov. The Weekend is headlining Summerfest on July 7th. Tickets go on sale Saturday morning, 10 a.m. And the Bucks are in 8th position in the Eastern Conference with only 5 games remaining in the regular season. Tonight, the Celtics come to town to take on the Bucks. Outside today, rainy and windy, then snow likely tonight. Continued windy, 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. Lows tonight in the low 20s. Tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, mostly sunny in the afternoon. Highs tomorrow in the mid-30s. I'm Stu Daniels for Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Charged, never convicted. Dom and Croat are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dominic, one of our friends has been a very naughty boy.
I didn't do anything.
Not you for a change, or even me, although there are always suspicions that surround us. Hashtag no collusion. Dominic.
Hashtag 3-0.
State Rep Dale Coinga, senatorial candidate Dale Coinga, apparently had to settle with wait for it, a protester. Oh my God. After he stole a sign that Coinga claimed was profane, but which I think in this age of Trump how can you call anything propane?
Right.
Please do explain what crudy means to our fine audience.
Patrick Marley reporting in the Journal Sentinel. Wisconsin taxpayers, Crudy, will spend $30,000.
That's a lot of ching.
To settle a lawsuit brought against State Rep Dale Coinga after he removed a protest sign critical of Republicans from a public area of the Capitol.
I didn't know I couldn't steal someone's permitted sign.
Coinga, a Brookfield Republican now running for the state Senate, said in a statement he signed off on the settlement because he did not want to incur the costs of a prolonged legal battle or further divert time or energy from the actual public policy priorities facing our state.
How does Coinga get to sign off on a $30,000 taxpayer-funded settlement after he stole a sign of protest from our buddy Don Johnson?
This isn't just stealing a
Not Ron
sign.
Johnson, Don Johnson.
Don.
Don's a cooler cat.
Yeah, we love you, Don. Congratulations. I'm a little incensed by this statement. He did not want to incur the cost of prolonged legal battle. Number one, I'm not clear that he incurred any costs.
And if you're not guilty, why settle?
Exactly. Number two, or further divert time or energy from actual public policy priorities facing our state. Well, if you don't have free speech, I mean, literally, this is free speech. This reminds me of the picture we have from Governor Scott Walker in Iowa grabbing a protester sign during his speech when he was telling
Iowa State Fair while he was running for president in summer of 2015.
I'm not intimidated of you, sir. Remember that?
I will not back down.
And of course, all of those Solidarity Sing-Along members, non-members, journalists, visitors to the state capitol that were swept up and arrested for also exercising their First Amendment rights. What is it about Republicans that they have such a problem with those exercising their free speech rights?
Hey, wait. You know how I remember when it was that Scott Walker stole a protester sign at the Iowa State Fair while he was running for president? Tried to steal it. Didn't have the strength in his little hands to pull it away from the protester.
No.
But do you know why I remember that date in particular, Dom?
Why?
Because that was the very same day that Scott Walker proposed building the Northern Wall. Talking to Casey Hunt from MSNBC, that was also that very same day. A lot of protesters that day. I think Scott Walker got a little flustered.
So, Coinga, actual, quote-unquote, actual public policy priorities, I got to tell you, sir, if we don't have free speech, what's the rest of it all about?
Well, and I would also point out, if you believe Scott Walker and Robin Voss and Scott Fitzgerald, all the business done for the year. What are you distracting from your senatorial campaign, Dale?
Yeah, right.
There is no other business to do since you abandoned ship on trying to not call special elections in the state of Wisconsin since Republicans folded up their tent on that. Well, there's no legislating left to do. What are you distracted from, Dale? I called his candidate, well, not his senatorial office. I called his state rep office. You know, when it used to be Dale saying, hey, I'm not here, I'm Dale Coinga. I'll circle round back to you. He doesn't even claim anymore that he's going to circle back, Dom. That is the third time we have invited Coinga on this show recently, and I've got no call, no response.
And he has not, and he's come
Is that him waiting on the phones right now? Dale Coinga, 844-967-2789.
Well,
Explain yourself, sir.
This is going against tradition. He's been on this show half a dozen times. He's been friendly with us. We've had him on the show many times. And
as long as we don't press him why Scott Walker will not accept the Medicaid money, as long as he doesn't have to answer the question truthfully, Dom, he's a fine guest.
Lester Pines, the attorney who brought the lawsuit on behalf of the man whose sign was taken, said he welcomed how the lawsuit was resolved. And here's what he said. We are pleased with the settlement because it is an acknowledgement by Rep. Coinga that he violated the 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. And, of course, the First Amendment. In May, Donald Johnson, our pal Don Johnson of Madison, placed a sign in the Capitol that criticized Republican President Donald Trump without naming him as corrupt and a serial groper. It said, Republicans backed the president, we the people be damned.
Damned? But the children, Dom?
Johnson had a state permit to display the sign in the Capitol, and he said he taped a copy of it to the back of the sign.
So when Coinga stole the sign, he knew or could have figured out if he simply read anything other than the damn on the front and got so offended, got his knickers in a bunch. But literally, Don taped the permit. So he had, what, a prior note? An excused absence? You can't steal what is permitted by your very government you are a representative of. Dale Coinga, and let's not forget, good Christians don't steal, even when they don't like the message of the damnable protesters at the Capitol. Unless they do, like Coinga.
That month, Coinga removed the sign and put it in his office because he thought it was inappropriate. After Johnson complained about the missing sign, the Capitol Police saw on security video that Coinga had taken the sign and recovered it from him. I'd love to see that video. I mean, this guy's running for state
stealthy
Senate.
6'8" Dale Coinga sneaking up to take the sign, or do you think he boldly took it and stole it in broad daylight, Dom?
Governor Scott Walker's administration has declined to release a copy of the video of Coinga taking the sign to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel and other media outlets.
Now, the Walker administration, of course, released other video from the Capitol when it was arbitrary and to their benefit to do so. Just didn't want to release this video that made one of their own look a little hinky.
He stole a permitted legal sign of an elderly man who had the right of free speech in the state capitol, and Coinga is running for Senate. He wants to represent more people. And what I did not see, and I haven't read all the documents pertaining to this case, and maybe Don Johnson can edify us.
Don, 844-967-2789. I hope you're listening on 1580 AM right now.
Did Coinga apologize?
Oh, no. Why would you do that?
Because you did something wrong.
No, we're just trying to save me more time and hassle so I can run for Senate. Apology unnecessary.
In the lawsuit, the two sides reached an agreement that the video would not be made public because of the administration's concerns that doing so could reveal the location of hidden cameras in the Capitol. Pines said he reached the settlement before seeing the video and believed the state should have to release the video under the state's open records law. The idea it interferes with security in the Capitol is really quite preposterous, Pines said.
Is this something similar to, like, hush money for Don? Reminds me, Dale Coinga's got his own little Stormy Daniels thing going on here. Little NDA, just take the money. Go away, Don.
A final settlement has not been filed with the federal court in Madison, but Pines and State Department of Justice spokesman Johnny Coromanos said attorneys had agreed to pay $30,000 to settle the matter.
Do you think our friend Don asked for 2 mason jars full of green M&Ms, 1 peanut, 1 plain, and also got stiffed, much like you?
In my experience, you can ask, they can agree, and still stiff you.
You are a veteran of settlement through the federal courts with the Walker administration. Maybe Coinga was just trying to follow the chilling of First Amendment rights of protesters, much like Governor Scott Walker did to hundreds of us at the Wisconsin State Capitol in the summer of 2013. I would remind anyone that's got Google, which is all it's worth a Google, go Google State Geek Root. I was a defendant extraordinaire, and we had the greatest attorney, Jeff Scott Olson, fine man, one of the best First Amendment attorneys in the great United States, and the assistant AG seemed quite overmatched.
Oh, gee, it was terrible.
That is, I've been to court before, and I thought, I'm winning. We're winning.
Yeah.
Generally on the plaintiff side. First time as a defendant that I wasn't guilty.
Yeah.
And I can tell you,
guilty of standing up for your First Amendment rights, Crudy. Shame on you.
Well, I can tell you the representation offered by the assistant attorney general was horrible. It was laughable, much like all of the, basically the DOJ stinks from the AG down, talking to you, Schimmel. But hundreds of people unconstitutionally arrested, given civil forfeiture tickets, hauled in handcuffs, zip ties in my case, and some, in fact, in August of 2013, arrested violently. The African-American sorts, they got hauled in by their necks. One guy got dragged in upside down.
When you say it like that, it's so crude. You just call it like they did. It's pain compliance. pain compliance.
Well, I would point out that the governor of the state of Wisconsin, Mr. Unintimidated, Mr. Stood Up to 100,000 protesters, had many of us unconstitutionally arrested. And if you want to know, Judge Kloppenberg, and as I voted for her this morning, I found that quite ironic. She wrote the majority opinion upholding the Dane County judicial activist opinion that said unconstitutional. Like 12 other judges adopted the very same opinion in dismissing the unconstitutional arrest of people before their courts. And you, my good friend, you won $75,000. Now that's more than twice as much as $30,000. And Don, I think you should follow the example of my good friend Dominic Salvia. Threw an open bar party that night. Even I thought your generosity knew too many no bounds. I'm thinking save some of that money for the next bar tab.
Easy come, easy go. But it is truly a shame that Republicans here in the state of Wisconsin, and you can say what you want about Koinge. He's always been friendly to us. He always traditionally had come on the show and banter back and forth, and we would part in amicable ways. But doing this, stealing Don's sign, we know Don. What's the problem, Dale? You didn't have the right. You stole it. Don went through the extra efforts of getting, the things that you Republicans were so concerned about all the time, a permit, and you absolutely ignored it. You have no respect for free speech. And what, because the word damn is on it? Are you kidding me? Did you vote for Trump, Dale? What are you talking about?
I don't know that Dale's ever admitted voting for Trump. We've asked him off the air, and he's never been much of a Trump supporter. But you joined the club. You're on the same team.
It's the Trump GOP now, and Koinge, you're just following in Walker's footsteps. You got no right to suppress people's constitutional rights.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. The happy hour continues. Voting hours continue in the state of Wisconsin. Go vote Dallet on the ballot. Judge Dallet for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Vote no. We don't want to eliminate the treasurer position. And most importantly, come back. Devil's Advocates got one segment left. Still time for you. 844-967-2789.
Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? I tell you, I gotta plead ignorance on this thing, because if anyone had said anything to me at all when I first started here that sort of thing was frowned upon.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Saturdays for Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk with Dr. Tim Slecker, 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the voice of the voiceless, champion of the working class. Earl Ingram's Saturday show is live from 12 to 3 p.m. Then right meets left with the Joel and Joe Costa show. Republican State Rep Joel Clayfish and Democratic State Rep Joe Costa Zamarupa go toe-to-toe from 3 to 4. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Crazy e-bike Lenny, where you been? We've been missing your nonsense on this radio station.
Come on, Trump is all the nonsense you need. But Crazy Lenny's e-bikes has some real sense. 2017, top-of-the-line, cold standard, 60-mile range e-bikes, liquidation price to $900. 60 miles with both pedal and throttle assist. A $2,000 e-bike for $900. This bike is great.
That's crazy.
And it's not fake news.
Go see my friend Lenny, 6017 Odana Road, Madison. Tell him the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Hello, I'm Tom Bennett, President of Teamsters Local 200. In 1903, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters was founded, and our local union was founded in 1935 here in Milwaukee. During the last 115 years, the principles and values for the Teamsters Union have made many improvements for working families, creating a pathway to the American middle class. Teamsters have assisted families and communities in times of need. Currently, our active and retired membership are collectively working to benefit working families across this nation for retirement security and addressing long-term social needs here in Madison, Wisconsin, and in Washington, D.C. American workers do have a voice in the workplace. Let Teamsters Local 200 be part of that action plan for you. For more information, please visit us on Facebook at Teamsters Local 200 or visit our website at www.teamsterslocal200.com or give us a call at 414-771-6363. TeamstersLocal200.com or 414-771-6363.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You made a fool of me, but them broken dreams have got to end.
The Devil's Advocates, radio for nasty women everywhere.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Time flies when you're having fun. Last segment of the day. We can get some of your calls in, though. 844-967-2789.
Two reports, local news stations. Channel 15 in Madison says Dale Coenga says he didn't mean to harm Don by stealing his sign and, chilling his First Amendment rights. Oops. No harm intended.
No.
I take it all back, but I won't apologize. And Governor Scotty Snotty Walker had this to say today. Why would we keep it? Governor Walker says voters should eliminate the state treasurer's office Tuesday. A watchdog on Walker?
We don't need that.
We don't need no stinking watchdogs.
All the more reason to vote no. We do want to keep it. 844-967-2789. Jake from Milwaukee, you're up. Thanks for calling, Jake. What do you got today?
Hey, Jake.
Hey, yeah. Hey, basically, I think Coenga is afraid to come on your show now. I mean, back in Madison, it was pretty small. In fact, I'd never even heard of you until you got your place in Waukesha, which was nice. I was like, what the heck is this? It blew my ears at first. I'm like, am I okay? What's going on? Anyways, but now you're a force. They thought they struck you down, but you became more powerful than they would ever imagine. Okay, Star Wars.
We're like Jedis.
But you have. And they are afraid of you guys now because
I'm Obi-Wan. That's Yoda.
There's Chewie.
And Brian's Chewie. We got it. But I'm just saying they are. But you know what? Who they're afraid of more of than just you guys? They're afraid of us.
Yeah.
They're afraid of voters that they once had and were able to confuse and to propagandize because they don't have total control anymore.
Well, Jake,
and that's why I'm telling.
I was just going to encourage all the Waukesha voters. I don't know if you heard this, Jake. All the polling places in Waukesha are closed. Don't even bother.
Come on. No, that is not true. They have lots of progressives in Waukesha. We speak at the Waukesha Drinking Liberally.
Oh, no, the progressives, it's still open for progressives.
Well, for conservatives, for every, or Republican voters, they passed a law for every vote in Waukesha County, Washington County, And in Ozaki County, it's 2 for 1. It's a BOGO offer.
It's a twofer. Well, Jake, I got to think.
It's a twofer.
I got to think that even conservatives, you have the right as a conservative to go down there and put your own signs up. There's all sorts of religious stuff down there, and I'm not a religious man. I don't want to see that. But you know what? I didn't take any of it. This is something that does not, I think, does not have to be a partisan issue. Free speech is free speech, man. And I think that's the greater issue. While certainly, Dale doesn't want to get called out by us publicly on the radio. I get that, and I understand that certainly progressives and guys like you, Jake. But what if his own start turning against him? You know what I mean? Or suppresses their vote? Why would I vote for a guy as a conservative? Why would I vote for a guy who doesn't want people to have their ability to express their political speech? And that would, I think, go across all sorts of levels.
Because there's 30% of them that just don't care, that hate you more than and they like to let their guy do whatever it wants because it's their hatchet man. They get something off it to see their people hurting other opponents or other people that they don't agree with. But those other people, those other 70% in his district that aren't that 30%, they will.
Well, so, Jake, let me point out, it's not a 70-30% split in the 5th Senate district. There's a reason Nurse Ratched is not running for re-election. She's opted to, go run for U.S. Senate? The turning blue 5th Senate district, even before the Trump blue wave, was turning blue. 49.5%, I believe it went for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So, based on the trends, and 2 of the 3 assembly districts that make up the 5th have also been turning blue. San Felipe's district, I think, the only one that's not turned significantly blue. But I'm not convinced at all that Dale Coenga could even serve in the Senate 5th. And one more thing, Dom claimed that he never messed with any of the religious artifacts. I'm pretty sure I saw him take the baby Jesus out of the manger and eat a baby.
I did not eat a baby.
He needed to suckle it. It was okay. He was thinking he was Mary. So, anyways, but I'm just saying, everyone get out a vote, get a pizza, get a beer afterwards. You deserve it. Vote against the Republicans and put balance back into the state.
Go vote.
We don't have any.
And then eat a manger baby.
Jeez, thank you, Jake. Always appreciate your calls, man.
We appreciate all the callers, Dan.
What's the matter with you, man?
I didn't eat it, and that's not a real baby. I mean, it was a fake baby I saw you chewing on that day.
Wow.
Kind of waxy. I want to thank our fine guest today. He was Scot Ross, Executive Director, One Wisconsin Now. We encourage all of you that have not yet voted, go vote. Dallet on the ballot. Vote Judge Rebecca Dallet. Go against Scott Walker. Give him a middle finger F you. Go vote no. We don't want to eliminate the state treasurer. And then go do it again, like 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Vote as early and often as you can. And then go eat a manger baby. And join us at the Judge Rebecca Dallet celebration party. What is it? Good City Brewing Company. We'll be there about 8:01 with bells on. I bet you this race is over by like 9:30. All over but the crying. Thank you for listening. Have a great night. Go vote. Do it all again tomorrow on this fine Wisconsin Resistance Radio Network.
Good work. Sleep well. I most likely kill you in the morning.
Rebellions are built on hope.
You'll get nothing like it.
It's a baby!
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost.